go up to the top, won't stop. I'm gonna be the man, yeah, I gotta cut the knot. Haters really on me, tryna take my spot. Oh, we go up, yeah, we never gon' drop. Alright, yeah. 1, 2, 3, mic check, what's up? 2, 3 on my back, just tug. Light years ahead, just call me Buzz. Hitting a shot and sing for the buzz. I feel like Joel Embiid, the process, yeah, I trust. Accolades got them swallowing the words, cause I know that they doubted us. Touch her, touch, can't touch this. I know they throwing that dirt on my name. When I check on my tag, it be spotless. Look in the mirror and snap my fingers and point like you know you got this. Winning man, winning man, winning man, winning man, winning man. Who gon' stop this? No one. Give it all I got. I'm going to the top. I'm going in. Right on the way to the top. 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 I'm going in. Flip the letter, I stick it. I came from the bottom to the top, but I'm not finished. I just needed me a minute. Standing attention, lieutenant. I gotta get up and get it. All I'm focused on is winning. You're not gonna cheat code. We win until the clock gon' hit zero. I'm fighting my way back like I was Nemo. Do it, I am a dynamic duo. Win, 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 and win. That's right, my nickname is winning. Gotta walk in the building, gotta inspire the children. Wanna see my ambition, I'm not a regular civilian. Give it all I got. I'm going to the top. Right on the way 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 to the top. Did it, I did it, I did it. I'm going in, got me like on grind. Gotta go up to the top, won't stop. I'm gonna be the man, yeah, I gotta cut the knot. Haters really on me, tryna take my spot. Oh, we go up, yeah, we never gon' drop. Alright, yeah. 1, 2, 3, mic check, what's up? 2, 3 on my back, it's tug. Light years ahead, just call me Buzz. Hitting a shot and sink with the boys. I feel like Joel and be the process, yeah, I trust. Accolades got them swallowing the words, cause I know that they doubted us. Touch, can't touch this. I know they throwing that dirt on my name. When I check on my tag, it be spotless. Look in the mirror and snap my fingers and point like you know you got this. Winning man, winning man, winning man, winning man, winning man. Who gon' stop this? No one. Give it all I got. I'm going to the top. I'm going in. Right on the way to the top. 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 I'm going in. Live the letter I stick it. I came from the bottom to the top, but I'm not finished. I just needed me a minute. Standing attention, lieutenant. I gotta get up and get it. All I'm focused on is winning. And I got a cheat code. We win until the clock gon' hit zero. I'm fighting my way back like I was Nemo. Do it, I am a dynamic duo. Win and win. That's right, my nickname is winning. Gotta walk in the building, gotta inspire the children. When they see my ambition, I'm not a regular civilian. Gotta go up to the top, won't stop. I'm gonna be the man, yeah, I gotta cut a knot. Haters really on me, tryna take my spot. But we go up, yeah, we never gon' drop.
Guys, welcome back to League of Legends Legends in South Asia. It's been madness alongside with Singler, and boys, we have a match for you today. It's the grand finals, ladies and gentlemen. There's been the accumulation of around 3 months, if you include the qualifiers as well as the league stage, and we've come to the pinnacle of the competition. The two contestants we pretty much were assuming would be meeting here, and this is a rematch of that upper bracket final between them. It's going to be Kakao Gaming as well as S8UL Esports, and this is a competition that has happened quite a few times in the last recent year, and every single time S8UL Esports has come out on top. The last two series they played, S8UL Esports beat Kakao Gaming 2-0 in the league stage, as well as in the upper bracket final, beating them 3-0. So Kakao Gaming with a big hill to climb if they have any chance of changing how the history was and changing how the future will look.
100%. I think we have a very exciting game today in front of us. Let's see if Kakao is able to come back and take this amazing prize pool which is in front of us. 10 lakh rupees worth prize pool that both the teams are going to be competing for, and a spot in LCP Wild Card Playoff. I think that is also going to be the cherry on the top, something that every team is going to, looking forward for. I mean, yes, Kakao is not able to win the game till now, against S8UL, but today the stakes are too high. They're not going to go down very easily, and we're going to have a great, great game.
Yeah, and that is a lot about how we reached here. But just seeing that part I was talking about, we started all the way back in April 27th for your qualifier 1, which ended on May 11th, qualifier 2, May 12th to May 25th, qualifier 3 to May 26th to June 8th. Three teams from each of them, three, that's your 9 teams. They battled out in the league stage between June to 13th, July 20th. And our playoffs started on July 25th, basically last weekend, where we had uh, that was a huge journey for a lot of these teams coming into this because they battled it out quite a bit coming into it. We had a couple of underdog stories coming out over there. S8UL Esports went completely undefeated during the league stage, as well as most of that qualifier until they faced against qualifier, five in qualifier 1, the best of 5, went all 5 games, and that looked like Kakao's turning point. But after that point, have never been actually much of a challenge towards S8UL Esports, the way it's been coming out from them coming into this tournament. And Kakao, talking about them, they dropped an entire series to the side of S8UL Esports in the playoffs, and they did also drop one game in the series they won against Revenant. So they have some chinks in the armor, and this is pretty much their kryptonite heading into this competition. And it's yet to be seen if they can change their favors, change their futures coming into this matchup, because it's going to be a very tough battle. All 5 strong members of S8UL Esports are coming in, and the Kakao that we saw last weekend, unfortunately, was pretty much a shadow of what we have seen throughout Legends Ascent. So hopefully that changes out. As you can see today, it is between S8UL Esports, Kakao Gaming. That's the best of 5 between them. It looks like S8UL Esports will be starting on the blue side to kick us off in this competition. But I think this is, the epitome of South Asian League of Legends, seeing these two behemoths fight it out over here.
100%. I think these are the two finest team that we have. Came a very long, long journey, right? They competed against n number of teams. They played so many games, so many close games that were played by them. And in the today we are in the grand final with our final two finalists, S8UL versus Kakao. I think it's going to be a very exciting game. I mean, Kakao has been able to steal some games against S8UL in the past, but yeah, I think man is what he said. Today is going to be, very exciting games, and let's see if Kakao is able to win. S8UL is going to play the blue side, and Kakao is going to play the red side. Let's see what S8UL has in their mind, and what is the champion that they're going to look forward to blind pick, and to pick as their first pick.
And starting off the batting over here from S8UL side, it's going to be that Nocturne getting banned out. Makes complete sense. A very viable jungler at this point. You could combo it with so many things coming into this. I'm also interested to see if Lotus will be picking up the Yunara that he's been picking up quite recently since it's been released. He's already picked up, I think, in 3 series where he's played it out for himself. To a bit of a hit and miss depending on the champions. The Hue ban against Catbot makes sense, but I would really like if Kakao targets RDO on the top side instead, with him having a slightly limited side of the champ pool compared to the rest of the members in this time. Love 2 yesterday had a wonderful performance, got that MVP of the series. His bar and his bike pretty astonishing. Just to see that level coming out over here from him, I really loved that place coming out. As well as, Copy was a very solid backbone in the top side. Dead Corporal is giving the gangs where he needs to be. So I think these are the kind of talking points you need to talk about Kakao, as well as that they have 3 players, W, Copy, and Dead Corporal, who do like to lane swap or role swap throughout a series, especially a best of 5. So keep that in mind as we head in further in the bans. The Wukong banned out, the Pantheon banned out, as we see what S8UL has yet to ban more for themselves.
Yeah, there are a lot of bands coming out, for the side of Dead Corporal here, S8UL banning him because we've seen get Dead Corporal being the MVP for Kakao again, one of the finest player. Yeah, let's see where the last ban is invested, and it is invested into Lulu, an amazing mage champion that can really keep the ADC alive. So yes, Lulu is a very strong champion right now with her shields, with that ult. can make any of the carries really powerful and help them, take through the game and take it to the victory. Shinzao has been taken away as the last ban from the side of Kakao and stole away. I mean, banned against Black Envy because we saw him again doing tremendous on to the champion. Both the teams' jam pool is so big that it cannot be a target ban. So yes, it is a fearless draft. Though, let's see what are the champions we are going to witness in game one.
I think another interesting fact, but just before that point, Trundle gets locked in for Infi. So strong right now in the current meta. Pretty much the top one jungler where you see the rotations in most of the sides that people look up to, and he is very good early on. Can get early. His pillar causes good ganks for him. So in the hands of an experienced player like Infi, that's going to cause a lot of trouble coming in. But talking about that fearless draft, this is where that Kakao synergy comes in, of those three players that can intro swap. So even if you're banning out most of their pool later on, they can swap roles and have other champions play that. So you can just never know what they're going to be pulling out, like they did in qualifier one. But even with the Nocturne ban, they're going to be picking up the Orianna blind over here. The Diana gets picked up, probably going in the hands of Dead Corporal in the jungle to match that Trundle for himself. So a nice amount of AP already locked up for them. Make sure to see more AD champions coming out later on against their matches against Revenants yesterday. Pretty much stomped their drafting phase, stomped the laning phase, stomped the games in their favor, had the fastest game of Legends Ascent, and Catbot looks to be answering that Orianna with a Syndra of his own. Catbot pretty much known as the best mid laner currently in League of Legends South Asia, and he's a guy who's willing to put his market. Most of these players on their side are the best in their respective roles, and Lotus looks to be picking up the Zaya, so probably we get to see a Rakan ban in the second rotation as we see what Kakao Gaming want to pick up as their last part for this first phase of banning.
100%. I think right now we should be seeing an ADC pick. Let's see what is that Kakao is going to pick up in the game one, because Zaya has already been picked by Lotus, and this is an opportunity to take a counter ban, and Corki gets picked. Corki is a champion normally I've seen a lot in the hand of Lotus, so we'll be very excited. I'll be very excited to see what Sam does with the champion, and if he's able to carry his team and do the exact same level of pressure, taking out the damage or not. Coming back to the bans, I think Yasuo is still open for copy. Nar is still open for copy. Both of the champions being very comfortable for him. We can see an AD pick coming into the top because they already have a Trundle in place. So tanks might not be the best call in this game, but yeah, if it is a Constante, also not something that will surprise me. With that, they take away the Kled from Copy's hand because AD pick is something that is going to be preferred. Again, a very comfortable pick for him. Let's see what is the next ban that is going to come up. Are they going to take away the Mordekaiser from the hands, or is it going to be another support ban and they take away the Leona, denying any kind of CC because they already have good amount of CC right now in the hands of S8UL, and Leona would have been an absolute monster in the hands of Kratos.
It definitely would be. He does love playing against Esports. Has recently played quite a few enchanters. I really like the card he picked up because of that true damage that will be locked in. The Cassante ban makes sense with that because recently we've seen Copy play quite a bit of Cassante early on. Instead of banning Rakan, they're going to be picking it up for themselves as just snatching it away and denying it for S8UL Esports with that Zaya on the side, because you like to see the lovers in the bot side for them. That is always a good combo that can match up, and I think they're just going to leave it open. The top is open for Copy to get his counter pick as this session heads out, but that Trundle can also be flexed offside. I'm not sure if RT is going to be playing that because most likely it's going into Infi's hands the way it's being created out. But with Rakan being picked up, Kratos is like, no, I'm going to take the Renata, I'm going to hit massive ults in these fights, and it can change a lot of how the fights are looking. Plus with the Feathers Fly, with the CC locking, the Syndra locking up targets, this is already looking like a really strong comp for the blue side for S8UL Esports. But for the side of red side, for the side of Kakao Gaming, we can't take too many tanky picks because with trouble with the subjugation, it causes quite a few bits of trouble. And I think what we are going to see is a Renekton blind pick for the namesake Renekton top only RTO for S8UL Esports. So he's going to start off the siege with the bang with his favorite pick alongside an Aatrox or something like that. That Renekton is very strong as well. What do you think Copy's going to answer back over here with Singler?
Yeah, I mean, with that, Renekton, they just denied the Yasuo pick. They took away the Kisante, denied the Yasuo pick with the combo. I think Jax is a lovely pick, something with that we have seen hyperly getting banned against Copy for the first time. He gets his hand, onto the Jack picks in the game one. Renata again, yeah, something matters that you spoke about is a lovely pick because the amount of melee engage that Kakao has, Renata can be a perfect champion here with his ult. If the Diana comes in, if the Rakan comes in, if the Jax come in with just one ult, he can change the entire memento
Mhm.
of the team fight. So let's see. I think both the drafts are beautifully made. Both the teams have the right amount of scaling. It will depend a lot what if Diana is able to get the right type of engage into team fight, and at the same time if that Oriana and Rakan can follow up, because if they can follow up onto the objective fight with a perfect Diana engage, this game will go in the hands of Kakao. Otherwise, the draft looks so much stronger into the hand of S8UL. That Syndra, that Zaya, Trundle in the hands of NP, and Renekton in the hands of RTO. All of them playing champions that are very comfortable for them. Champions that they have carried n number of games with. So let's see what happens into the game one of Legend Essence South Asia.
Yeah, I think this is already looking like a bit of a banger from the start. This is what we were kind of expecting. S8UL Esports with pretty much a perfect draft in terms of how their comp is looking. Lotus likes playing Corki a lot. We usually don't get to see many first game Corkis in a best of five throughout the world right now in leagues. We get to see maybe other picks, but he wants to really neutralize this. He gets the Zaya out of the way, plus the Rakan out of the way as well for future drafts, so maybe he can draft more comfortably accordingly afterwards. Jax on copy is a bit of a question mark in the sense that it can go super well for him or super bad. Just depends on how he plays this lane against the Renekton top side. And it's one of the favorite picks that Copy really likes to take. And it's usually banned against him with that clear. But now people are making this transition. Like you can see S8UL making it into that Cassante getting banned out instead. They said think the Cassante is too much of a threat compared to the Jax with the tankiness. But you have a Trundle. I honestly did not expect that the Cassante gets banned out over there, because if you take too much tank, you take that MR, you take that magic resist for yourself, and you're going to be happy about that. But it seems that they have different ideas on their mind of how their draft should be looking. And it is a very well-rounded comp no matter which way you're looking from both sides, and it's definitely going to be a step ahead of whatever we've seen in Legends Ascend right now, because this is these two teams fighting it out, not just for that top prize money, for that LCP wildcard playoff. And you guys, they will have a chance to make it into LCP if they win in the playoffs over there. So that is something that these guys are always looking towards, and Kakao are really looking for revenge for qualifier one grand finals, for the upper bracket finals, for the Legends Ascend group stage, as well as whatever they have faced in the past year. So Kakao gaming coming in with a huge amount of vengeance and looking for some retribution against the behemoth that is S8UL Esports. I can't wait for this match to start.
100%. I think everything that you said makes so much sense here. But yeah, I think Cassante was denied that because it was the only hope of tank, that can be picked up into the game one. And we have seen Copy playing really well onto that Cassante. Cassante also gives them the edge to create the pressure into the top, and then, dive the champion, get some kills up for DC. But here, accounting onto the Cassante, accounting on the Yasuo, they misplayed or they miscalculated onto the Jax is what at least what I feel, because Renekton into Jax is a much more comfortable pick for Jax with his counter attack. With his E,
Mhm.
he can deny the stun, he can deny the W of the Renekton, and Jax just outscales very hard. So if the game goes
Oh, yeah.
little longer, right, Jax gets some kills, goes 25 minutes to 30 minutes mark, it'll be very hard for that Renekton to match up the Jack. So I think it's going to be a very interesting game. Both of them have drafted beautifully, but at the same time, both of them are playing onto some comfortable champion for their end, and that's something wonderful. The first game will be so much more exciting because the fearless draft bans has still not come in place after first game.
Mhm.
The 10 plus 10 bans, that is where the champ pool constraint starts coming in place. But with that keeping in mind, we're about to jump into the game one very quickly, and I think the Hades is about to join us into the cast.
Yeah, it is looking. We are having a. Please make sure in the chat box to make sure who you think is won the draft, who's going to end up winning game one over here in the series. And it is looking like an excellent turn of events of how we are going to define how this competition has looked. I think we are in for definitely a treat for the viewers over on this side as we're going to be shortly jumping into this game one in this best of five. Mind you, guys, this is the grand finals of the tournament, the end of Legends Ascent, and we are going to see at least one of these teams ascend above our South Asian region to a different international level where they will be battling it out against teams that they have not had mostly a chance to per yet, just according to how our region has been slightly behind compared to other regions. And this is definitely a big step forward for South Asian League of Legends. No matter any way you look at it, it's such a huge prize pool. 10 like INR prize pool is huge. The playoff chance is huge with that wildcard spot up for the LCP. I just think we are just jumping leaps and bounds beyond what people were dreaming for League of Legends in South Asia. And I'm so excited to see what else we have in store. Because, guys, this is just the beginning for League over in this region. I can't wait and watch before we emulate some other kind of regions and get to a higher level. And I think the competition is great because even in Legends Ascent, we got to see, a couple of new teams in the scenario, them battling it out, seeing a couple of players who maybe slightly lower rank but performing beautifully against higher rank players, especially like a team like Shuvo Haters. Phoenix Ascension unfortunately did miss out on that fourth place part. But talking about the teams that have been, knocked out already during this playoffs, it's going to be Syndicate getting knocked away. It's going to be Revenants getting knocked away. So Revenants takes third spot, Syndicates takes fourth spot, and we're in the battle for the top one and top two in this matchup over here for yourselves. But before we go in, Singla, any predictions from your side, given that you are technically an ex-TOK member?
Oh, I got an opportunity to play with them. It was, a great time. But yeah, I think the K1 still, I have played with TOK. The kind of communication that they have, the kind of belief that they have on each other, and the motivation and the team is just tremendous. So I still think teams have to really learn a lot before beating S8UL. But my boys, I think the game one should be an easy win for S8UL.
Guys, this is the grand finals. Make some noise as we head in to this game one, the best of five series between S8UL Esports and Kakao Gaming. S8UL Esports on the blue side, Kakao on the red side. Do we get to see any level one shenanigans coming in? Kakao Gaming look to be grouping towards the top side. S8UL Esports have split across instead. Do we get to see Infi getting caught out? Catbot looks in a precarious situation. Infi tries to come in. Dead Grumble spots both out with that Q, but I think that's going to be the stop of it, as I'm pretty sure I've been joined by Hades. Hades, any thoughts on the comps
Yeah,
before we head into the game?
yeah. Hi, Madness. You can hear me, right?
Yeah, yes.
All right. So yeah, I was just looking at this draft, and the first thing that came to my mind is this Shockwave combo with the Diana ultimate that they can use for a snap engage along with Love 2's follow up. So like, I really like the combo that both these teams have really drafted, and I feel like a lot is really going to depend on how both these junglers kind of path and look to try to influence and impact these lanes in the early game. You can already see them play some vision down just to get some intel on where this Trundle will be heading. So it's really close. I don't know who I actually favor in terms of draft, because I do think that, the Jax, Orianna, and Corki actually scale better than their counterparts, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait to see if we get to the skating point. Because given S8UL's history, they usually don't take games very late. And usually we've seen teams that draft that late game comp never actually manifest or play according to it. So let's see if Kakao Gaming, I've come up with this strategy of going on those sides. Sam actually has the Corki in the bot side. Lotus with the Zaya. Talking about runes. Unsealed spellbook for Love to, so make sure to watch out for the smite battles later on. Other than that, I don't think we have much of changes. There's an Comet for Catbot. He's trying to put in the move. Nice sidestep from W. Doesn't take much of the damage. And now Sam and Love 2 are a bit on the back foot. Catbot has to be careful. He's taking too much in these trades. W is going to be warning out quite heavily. Catbot forced to burn a portion. So does W. But W definitely winning in that HP pattern. And top side, you can see RTO is pushing in that wave into copy. Takes full control and even puts a ward in the Tribush.
Yeah, and just look at the amount of pressure that this Orianna is putting. The footwork, the phase rush giving her that advantage of just being able to dodge out on Syndra's spells a lot more easily. gives her a little bit of a stronger laning phase. And as you can see now, the wave has pushed back into the Orianna, so the CS seems to be even, but that pressure in the top lane is definitely mounting, as Renekton definitely has the advantage in that. So he's setting up his recall, actually faking it there for a moment. He knows that he has the pressure. It's going to be hard for Copy to walk up. He's just going to be taking a call to make to the face, most likely.
Yep. Yeah, and Copy's just playing for that, finally being burnt from Lotus, and that means Sam's going to have his flash at an earlier point than Lotus as well. Copy topside might get caught out, counter strikes in onto Artio.
No, he's actually okay.
He's trading out and does seem okay, does flash away. The auto Q, the Q auto is enough for the big bag Crocodile to break open the deadlock in game 1 of the best of 5. First blood for S8UL Esports.
Right, so just to quickly retrace what exactly happened. So once the full clears were initiated and the scuttle crabs were taken, Infi made the habit of he actually rotated back to get the gank to at least try to burn some summoners, all right? And at the same time, Diana had already taken her recall, so she ran straight bot to try to answer this play. But the mistake that was made by Kakao Gaming over there actually was the Jax overestimating his potential in that, not respecting that Renekton could teleport back and try to get the solo bolo, and that ended up costing them big time in this very crucial game 1 in the best of 5 series madness. So this was all set up with just Infi's ability to not take the recall, be patient, and look for that gank to try to get the summoners and get this bot lane of Kakao Gaming behind in the early game, and it paid off really well for them.
Yeah, absolutely. A good play coming in for him. That's the kind of jungle you expect from the counter lens from Copy. RT is too much in turret range for Copy to get another auto off. Drake has now been started up by Trunful, by Infi. He's also getting help from his Syndra. The Orianna is not far behind. W is there as well as Dead Corporal. They wanted to make an exchange. Scarab Wind does land onto W. Catbot might be in a bit of a tricky situation. Has to flash from the shock wave of the Orianna on the bot side. This might be Kratos getting caught off guard. Infi doesn't have flash, mind you, and he ends up paying his life for taking that Drake. Kratos might be following into this. The Q lands. One more auto would have been enough. Flash from Kratos. Lotus doesn't have flash available, but he does have the pullback. He gets the E route, but it's not enough. The bailout comes in. One more auto on Dead Corporal. Oh no, he does not survive. That's a dead Xayah. And an instant for Infi taking the Drake. They go 2-0 in favor of Kakao Gaming, and they're 1 kill away from the feats of warfare.
Yes, indeed. And I think that was a very good answer there by Kakao Gaming. Just, knowing that they were stronger in that skirmish, were able to actually come out on top. And even though S8UL did get the dragon, they were able to trade back for 2 kills, and which means they're 1 step closer, like you said, to that defeats of warfare. But have a look at this Trundle. He's already moved up to the top side of the map. He's securing the scuttle for himself. You can see the lane swap has also been initiated, and I do believe that they're trying to match it on the top side because Jax does not have a teleport, so he's going to have to quickly... He's going to probably miss a wave here with how things are going. He's going to be running bot lane, but the wave is going to crash the turret, and Syndra is going to get her recall. So lane swaps, being utilized really well by S8UL Esports in this just 7 minutes into the game here. Yeah. And so just having a look at how this has gone in the first 7 minutes, we can see that the gold numbers seem to be almost identical. Even though Kakao Gaming have the 2 kills to their name, the 1 dragon was picked up by S8UL Esports, but this is still such a close game. And like you said, S8UL don't like to make the game go into the late phases if their opponents do have that scaling option. So let's see what they're going to be doing as the grubs do respawn. W is not in a good spot, right? He has to use his shockwave to try to answer back. One more should not be able to do that, but in comes Dead Corporal with a beautiful combo, lands his ultimate, and he's able to get the return kill. But Kratos is also waiting in the wings. He's gonna just pick up this control over these grubbies, and because of the lack of mid laners, I don't think either team are gonna look to contest, especially with 2 members being upside of the map.
Yeah, that's a nice shockwave. W is trying to do his best to survive in that lane, but nicely answered back by Dead Corporal. Goes in with the QE combo. Ultimate comes in perfectly. There's 3 members top side for the side of Kakao Gaming. They want to go on to Lotus. Lotus has to be careful. His flash is up. Does he want to use a copy against RTO on the bot side? Nice counter strike. Gets his stacks in. Slicing dice for the ultimate from RTO. Ultimate pop by copy. That is enough for the Renekton to back down. with that dominance that he had proc. Lotus pulls back feathers, the Valkyrie forward by Sam, another rocket to the face and R, and there's this knock-up not quite coming in from Love 2, unfortunately, but the battle for grubs have begun on this side of the map top. Only the top side laners are on the pot of there. Infi's trying to fight as much as he can. One grub's already picked up by Kakao Gaming as of yet. They're looking for more. Lotus channels the ultimate on the Love to channels the ultimate on the top side onto two more members over there. The handshake comes in, the ultimate comes in for Renata. Doesn't hit many members, only Love to actually gets stand up. The Valkyrie from Sam right now just to prevent his life. Dead Corporal's going dangerously low. The bailout, is it enough in time? The flash forward from Infi with the chop gets the kill. The bailout is secured. Love to, it goes down. Sam is on the wrong side of the map. The ultimate from Catbot picks up the kill on the other side. W does pick up the kill onto Zaya, but one grub is secured by S8UL Esports. That's a 3-for-1 in their favor, and this is the kind of fighting I was expecting. The grub's a huge talking point between these two teams over here, Hades.
Yeah, and you can see that, like, the decision making from S8UL Esports, they seem to have this little bit of a communication advantage because it looks like they're always coming out on top just by a little bit in this. And it's demonstrated here, like the Renata ult unfortunately does go a little bit wide, but it doesn't like save the fact that they chose the right members to target down and zone away from that. And you can see Love 2 had to use his entire combo, and there was no one to follow up. He was just trying to keep the bot lane of S8UL Esports distracted, which I don't think should have been what he was trying to do there. He could have used his combo to try to get, secure some kills for his team instead.
Yeah, like if he goes into that fight, he'll do so huge with that ultimate. You could even prevent the bailout from that trundle pretty much because he flash chomped away to get his life back for himself. And with that turn in events, S8UL Esports 1.2k gold up right now. They have a drink, they have one grubs, two grubs go over to Kakao Gaming. So in terms of epic monsters, each side have one each for themselves. But Trundle is pretty far ahead in terms of CS compared to Infi and compared to Dead Corporal, and Dead Corporal has always been one step a bit too behind to come into these fights. The Scatbot's already 3-1-1. He already has his Luden's Echo completed, while Oriana only has the Lost Chapter and another item available. Drake now being started from S8UL Esports right now. I don't think you see an answer because Love 2 is going for the recall. He does have TP with his Unsealed Spellbook, but I don't think he's going to be making a play for because RTO's on the bot side of the map. Yeah, it is too late. Drake gets taken away, and S8UL Esports are setting the pace, and Kakao Gaming are just letting them dictate it.
Yeah, I think this all began, like you could see that the jungle lead that you pointed out, right? Even though the camps have been evened out now, that early gank is what started this whole tempo that S8UL seemed to have been running away with all this time. So the tempo was started with that play, and it just transitioned into being a good fight at the grubs for them. It has turned into a second dragon secured for them as well. It has turned now into a gold lead of 1,000 as well. So they are one step ahead of Kakao Gaming, but that is to be expected, of course. This is S8UL Esports, of course, the number one team in the region, currently battling it out with a slot against, deservedly, the number two team in the region in Kakao Gaming. And I do think they want to play spoiler. They do want to try to get some win and, show that they can fight. But in the top side, Dominus has been cast and copied. These are not fights that you win. He has to use his Counter-Strike. And here comes Catbot. He just needs to land a QEQ, and he's dead. Yep. QEW, and he dies. And you can see the rotation was just beautiful. And W is trying to answer, but there's three members here, man. I don't think you want to do this, Oriana. They're gonna lose so much place in the top side, potentially his entire turret as well, because Trundle loves to jump on these turrets. But a fight does begin in the bot side. In goes Love 2 with the Dead Corporal. They're gonna land all of the CC onto Lotus. He uses his barrier, but to no avail. The bailout is not gonna be enough as it does not have enough damage, but the teleport is being channeled, which means that the pressure has been slightly alleviated. So there, Kakao Gaming actually answering back, but the play is still not done, as in comes Catbot and uses all his combo to just burst down Dead Corporal. And you can see again, S8UL Esports with the answer to every single play that is being made by Kakao Gaming.
Yeah, they take the first turret for themselves, and Catbot's not letting Sam go away. Nice carry of the win. Another lands onto him. Love to if he knocks up Sam can do quite a bit of damage. This might be
Catbot?
Catbot's end, and that is that. Sam,
Kratos?
nice Valkyrie. What a good reposition coming in, plus the shielding coming in for the Rakan.
What the
Kratos unfortunately steps a bit too forward. Thought he can maybe get the kill onto the Corki before it ends, and that's a bit of an overextension by Catbot and Kratos. They seem to have the answer from side of S8UL Esports, but maybe getting a bit overzealous in the plays they're making towards the ending part of that. I like the top side dive. Copy, honestly, I think once the Dominus was popped by RTU, he didn't have to pop his ultimate and go back into the fight. Counter-Strike comes in, but he's not aware that Infi is close by. This is a flashless Copy, mind you. This could be disaster for Copy. His Counter-Strike is also fair off. It doesn't have the cooldown right now
Also
at this
dead,
stage.
yeah.
That's him dying for the third time this game, and that's the second kill coming in for Trundle. Over here, Catbot,
Oh, no.
sorry, Dead Corporal jumping onto Kratos.
Kratos.
Kratos trying to run away, but is it enough? This secures with Sam, but no, it looks like Love to is trying to, sorry, it looks like Dead Corporal is trying to steal that away, but no, the bailout won't count that. That's like Catbot's trying to come here to deny some of this scam thing. He actually does get the big chicken for himself, so
Yep.
that's a bit of a denial that side. He does get the vision put down as well with the pink ward, will clear the ward later for himself, but right now, in terms of this matchup, S8UL are in the goal lead. It has been narrowed down from that 1.2, 1.3k earlier on to around less than 1k right now. It's 8 kills to 8, and if S8UL Esports pick up anything more, basically the next jungle objective, they will get the feats of strength for themselves.
All right, and we hit exactly 15 minutes. The game is dead even, guys. The lead that S8UL Esports have has kind of like been neutralized by Kakao Gaming. So overextension from both sides, but this is still anyone's game to lose. But you can see now the map has been started, opened up. I mean, the Herald has been started up. They do have knowledge on this, but I don't think they are in a position to contest this, because you can see that they don't have the summoners, they don't have the ultimates. Diana had used her ultimate in the previous fight. Copy is right now having a very rough game. He's keeping up in terms of CS, but he is a 0-3-0 on this Jax. And yeah, the tempo is being matched by Kakao Gaming here, but this is to be expected when these two teams clash. Titans of the league, and they're taking on head to foot, and this is both teams just riding on absolute tempo and momentum. And that is why the plays are being, playing out the way that they are right now, Madness. But you can see the dragon is spawning, and I think this is where Kakao Gaming have to contest. They cannot afford to give away the third objective and the feats of strength. They have to fight. They have to go all in on this.
Just to interrupt you there, sorry. They did pick up the feats of strength with that Drift Herald that we picked up
Sorry,
on,
my
so
bad,
that secures that for themselves. The eyes in that Corporal's in AVV's pocket if he wants to spawn that up. Top side, yet again another fight. Copy posts the ultimate, but there's RT with the dominance, and he has too much damage right now. Plus the Eclipse with that shielding, it's not what you want to see as the Jax. Copy time and time again is falling for this ruse. I think you Counter-Strike in too late over there, and with that you pop your ultimate, but that's not enough. The slicing dice plus the empowered Q is enough to claim the life of the Jax for the fourth time this game. The Rift Herald gets neutralized in the mid part, but that's RT who TPs in for this fight. He's going to be well aware. It's a 5 versus 4. Kakao Gaming are trying to match it. Dead Corporal goes in onto Catbot. Instantly deletes him with the help of W, but the Drake gets picked up by S8UL Esports. They are now on Ocean Soul Point, and Infi's looking hungry. He's looking for more. Love to comes in. An excellent ult. He locks up RTO in place. RTO is trying to flash forward onto Sam, but he's so low on HP. One more auto is enough. The bailout comes in. I don't think he's going to get out this time. On that side, Dead Corporal comes back in. That Renata ult hits a couple of members, but is it enough to turn around the fight? It looks not to be the answer. A shutdown being picked up by Copy. Kratos and Lotus are trying to run for the hills. Nice juke on the missile coming in from the Corki. Kratos doesn't have much mana. Love to goes in, but I think there's a bit of a misplay slightly. He does have the shielding, but Copy's on this side. He's cutting off the wave. They're looking for a dive potential. Nice Q in Counter-Strike. Copy gets the kill for himself. Kratos gets picked up by Sam on the other side. A nice dive over that ward up. Copy almost died to minions at the end of the fight, but in a very extended exchange over there. A 4-0 in favor of Kakao Gaming, and the S8UL Esports members did pick up the Drake. Our Ocean Soul Point, but losing 4 members for it is a bit too hefty. But hold that thought. Sam might just go down to Catbot instead. Valkyrie, so he has the exploding plant, but Catbot trying to predict where Sam was going to jump to, just a bit out of the range of the Syndra. And unfortunately for S8UL Esports, they couldn't get a kill back after the Diana.
Yeah, I guess they knew that they could not be contest the dragon, so instead they choose to immediately explode Catbot in that fight. And while I was looking, I wish I could get a replay of the fight. The way Kakao Gaming played that fight was actually so beautiful to watch. They kept their cool. They didn't panic, and everyone. But now we need to hold that thought because Catbot now is actually going to have to burn his flash to try to get away. I don't know if it'll be enough because Dead Corporal is going to come in, but the Unleashed Power is able to kind of suspend that play. So both earlier, the Corki also living with a sliver of HP, and now it is returned in favor by the side of Kakao Gaming. But a chart is going to be taken here. Oh, what? Just throw your boot at it, brother. Oh, it just stands with like 0.5.
They did try. Kratos tried to even go deep for another auto on the turret, but yeah, without minions, you're not going to do much damage to the turret, especially as Kratos on that support. But yeah, he reached the turret shot for his troubles. Sam maybe could potentially have maybe tried to go for even more damage, but yeah, at the end of the day, 13 kills for Kakao Gaming to just the 10 of S8UL Esports. It is now Kakao Gaming with the gold lead for themselves around that 500 goal mark. It's still negligible, still pretty much even technically at this point, but S8UL Esports, more importantly, have the feats of strength, are on Ocean Soul point. If you give a Trundle Ocean Soul as well as the Renton, that could prove disastrous in these type of fights. But yeah, that's what you can see with Dead Corporal's damage. Like in that fight before Drake myself, they know they can't contest it that often, but they catch out that struggling Catbot on the other side of the pit and go instantly, basically delete him with the help of W and Dead Corporal there. So I really like how they turn it around, look for those kind of plays, and come out definitely on top of that Drake pit fight for themselves. And they try to burn so much just to catch Catbot on the bot side. Unfortunately, could not catch him. A good scatter of the wind plus the pillar pretty much saves his life. There's a bit of a play coming in for Jax. No, Jax is just going to be recalling there instead. RDO picks up a wave. Talking about CS, RDO definitely well ahead. Between the jungle is pretty even. Between mid lane is also pretty even, as well as the bot lane. So it's only the top lane of Copy, pretty much on the weak side, struggling quite a bit as the Jax right now has to try to go for the scaling if he wants to do a lot of damage. We seem to have a bike also on the stream with us, so that's also an interesting concept of the vroom vroom on that side. Yeah, we have maybe the tier 1 falls right now. Lotus is going to go in, maybe no, but he has to be careful. Atakan has spawned up on the bot side of the map. If we cannot look anything more, RTO is trying to come in for it. No, he's trying to balance out with the warding for themselves. As of yet, nothing much picking out. Copy pretty much will be picking the tier 1 for himself in the top side.
Right, and now we're 20 minutes into the game, ladies and gentlemen. The only issue that Kakao Gaming are kind of facing right now is the fact that there's an Ocean Soul that will be spawning on the map very soon. But the amount of vision that they have invested in this bot side means that they do not want to concede any more objectives. They know they're ahead right now. And Copy, you've tried this time and time again. I'm not sure this is what you want right now. You should probably just try to get away. He uses the ward to... Oh my goodness, he could have... Yeah, but he's able to survive, but at what cost now? Atakan is under pressure, and this is a Diana on the other side of the map. Oh no, this is starting to look really bad. I don't know if they can... Oh, wait, they're kind of pulled away from that. And now you can see that Corporal is making his way slowly towards that quadrant. So this is going to be such an interesting fight at this point onwards. I want to see if Kakao Gaming can maintain that same level of focus that they had in the last team fight. Look for those key members and try to burst them down with a combo that they have. Also, this is a Corki right now who has completed his Manamune and his Triforce 416 right now. The poke is going to be detrimental in this, and I think, given the fact that if they're grouped up, they need to be careful of the Orianna Shockwave. They're all grouped up as kind of playing it out as 5 right now. It's battle of attrition, a war of attrition. They're going to play around the priority that they have in the mid lane, but Love2 looks for an engage. He does miss on that. Setem actually has to burn he has to burn both his summoners just because he got caught out by the Scatter of the Weak from the Syndra right now. But Dragon has been started more importantly, and I think that they do want to try to secure this. Otherwise, will we see a steal come through? The ultimate from Renato to zone everybody. Infi is left alone there with Dead Corporal, but they should try to look for a combo here. The Dragon is stolen away, but the fight ensues, and now Copy is on his lonesome there against 3 members. The bailout is not going to be enough, and they're turning the fight around. Kakao Gaming have killed 4 members, and it's only Lotus left alive, and oh my goodness, I can't believe they're actually doing this. The flash actually goes wide. Lotus not able to make that work, but more importantly, Kakao Gaming take 4 for 2 in that exchange. They take the Dragon, and they're not done. Dead Corporal is going to go in, uses his combo perfectly, and scores the ace for Kakao Gaming.
And that was such a nice fadeaway from Dead Corporal. I really loved what Copy did in that fight. Goes on the backline, pulled so many members towards him. I thought it might be a lost fight given that Sam early on had to burn his flash and his barrier, but the positioning coming in from Kakao, the way they separated the fighter. TP's coming in on the bot side. Redington's going to be met with a lot. There's 2 TPs actually coming in. So RTO has company alongside him, with that being Cat, but copies come to match. The reason they're fighting so hardly is because Atakan is still up, ladies and gentlemen. Love to push down a ward. It's going to get neutralized by the ping. He's trying to get that for himself, and he's exactly going to do that. Atakan numbers for them. Zaya is a bit far behind, so it's technically a 5v4 right now before the Birds of Feathers come in for the fight. Kratos is trying to go. Nice scatter. The wind comes in. Copy gets deleted. Atakan stolen by Infi. A huge deck ultimate when he goes golden, but it is not enough. A shockwave, but that is too late in the fight. It's a 2-for-1 in favor of S8UL Esports, as the rest of Kakao are running away. It was technically a 4v5 with S8UL lacking that one member being Lotus, but a nice steal comes in for Ify. A good scatter of the wind earlier on. The damage from Dead Corporal was not enough when he goes golden before his ultimate, and the shockwave coming in a bit too late from W. So these kind of factors make it completely going in S8UL's favor. They take the Atakan, they take 2 more members, only losing Catbot in the process, who's being focused quite a bit in the fights given how fed he is, but they steal that objective away. And you can see the goal lead has also been neutralized yet again. It's now only 1.3k in Kakao's favor, and next Drake, if S8UL Esports can pick it up, will be their soul. Baron has also spawned on the top of the map, and we wanted an exciting game, ladies and gentlemen, and we are getting exactly that.
Exactly that, indeed. Now, both these teams have turned up on the day to play League of Legends. We're 25 minutes into the game. It's still dead even. There might be a slight slight lead in gold right now that Kakao Gaming have, but now they are looking to, like you said, start the Baron dance. Both these teams are more than happy to go forward, and as is demonstrated by the dominance that has been popped down, and Dead Corporal does not look like he's in a good place. Turns immediately with the Eclipse and uses his combo, but it's not going to be enough to break Catbot's life, and that is 1 member down, and Baron is on the map. The honey fruits are going to be gobbled up here by Catbot, and now is where the gauntlet is thrown down. Are we going to see a contest? Love2 does not have his ultimate, and well, he's at half HP, so their engage is potentially going to be scuffed right here. They don't have key summoners except for the Shockwave. Are we going to see a steal? In goes Love2, and is instead chomped down by the Trundle, who secures the kill. Copy tries to go in, and I'm not sure that's what he wanted to do, but the Shockwave is able to dissuade any further fight, but it's not going to stop Lotus from stepping forward for his team. Desire is not afraid to push out those feathers, root people in place, pick up the kill, and S8UL are cleaning house.
They are cleaning house. I don't understand why Kakao's fighting so hard. They don't have their jungler, the guy who's going to smite it away. You're never going to win a smite fight against a Trundle. And look at this. Love2 is still waiting on this side. He jumps over the walls, but a very delayed technical ace coming in from S8UL Esports. Zaya was left to hunt over there. I would have liked instead maybe to push back and get this start with the team. Because if you just push down as 5 members, I think you get both the inhib, you get the turret, as well as 2 more with the Nexus and Nexus for yourself. I think they're just waiting for the next Drake, going to be picking up the soul for themselves, and then maybe head down straight as Baron leads the team and fighting that. I don't understand what Dead Corporal was doing in that fight earlier on. He got baited by just seeing RTO, thought he was alone. And then when he sees more members, tries to run away. When he realizes he's going to get caught by the Fury-empowered RTO, who has enough with the W stun that side, he tries to turn the fight, but it's a bit too late. His team is not in place, and all in all, they just lose more members. They lose the fight, and they lose the goal lead as well as the Baron.
Yeah, and even though the kill score might be 19-19, you can see now that there is a 3,000, 4,000 goldie copy, loses almost all his HP bar. But oh, what a Zhonya's from Catbot there. Is able to keep himself alive, but Copy is not done. He's going to try to get something back. He's keeping himself alive. The Thunder Sky doing so much for him. Is able to survive for so long, but that is yet again 1 member down as soon as the objective has spawned. And S8UL Esports are now left without a dead top laner, but they're going to turn instead on this fight. But Dead Corporal is also have to use his Zhonya's, but the damage is going to be enough. W does pick up Kratos on that, but S8UL Infi is a big boy. He has used his Subjugate, and he's going to continue, just going to walk forward, chomp down on the Diana, but Diana is more importantly able to actually get the steal away, but the damage, is it going to be enough? That's a triple kill for Catbot.
Oh, I do.
It's going to be a quadra kill for Catbot. But no,
Oh.
instead they're going to win the game, I think. Yes,
Yeah,
you can
they should
steal
be
our
winning the
dragon,
game.
but we're going to take
You
your next
definitely
one.
steal the Drake, but we're going to take your base. And that's why I think Infi's going, because he knows the Drakes doesn't matter right now. If they get more members, they wipe them out, they'll go. Copy goes for last ditch effort onto
It's
members.
over.
He's tugging them down, but yeah, it is over. It's
Just
definitely
like
that's
that.
going to be S8UL Esports taking game 1 against Kakao Gaming in pretty nice fashion. We did not expect this kind of an end, given how the performance was going in, but Lotus survives in the
Wow.
last fight. Infi is so tanky ahead, no one can stand in front of him. Just look at this. Copy gets caught out. Copy ends up going down. He's trying to go for Catbot, but a nice scatter of the wind comes in, lets the Catbot live so long. Copy ends up falling down in this fight, and look at how it separates. RTU goes in the back with the dominance. He's also pretty tanky. They focus so much onto him. You're not going on the real members. Nice Dead Corporal ultimate with, him going golden, but Catbot is not going, gets caught out. He has enough damage to deal, as well as if you mind you, that's a bruiser Trundle with a Spirit Visage. He'll just keep on healing up. He does not care about the Drake anymore. He's like, I'm going for the win, and that's exactly what he does. Everyone starts falling down from Kakao. Only Love 2's left. There's only so many dashes Zarakan has. The pillar's also in his face. There's not much the Sri Lankan support can do at that point, and that will look like definitely S8UL Esports taking in pretty nice fashion against Kakao Gaming game 1, and we do definitely have a series on our hands.
Well, I wouldn't say it's a series because it's still the first game. So I think that Kakao Gaming have to win a match for it to be a series. But with the momentum that both teams brought into this first game, it's going to look like the next couple of matches are also going to be absolute bangers. I mean, this was decided basically over a tempo that was determined at the very start of the game by Infi. Just deciding to not take his recall and influence his bot lane ended up turning into both these teams kind of riding out on the tempo, but S8UL Esports, more importantly, were always one step ahead. They were playing a game of chess in this. The macro was beautiful. The micro was beautiful. The team fighting was fantastic from these teams. But this is to be expected, Madness. I mean, we are seeing the two best teams undoubtedly in this region battle it out. And I wouldn't say that was a stomp in anyway. That was a really close game. It could have gone either way. And but you can see that the decision making from the side of S8UL Esports just seems to be a little bit ahead of their opponents in Kakao Gaming. But I still feel like this is gonna fire up Kakao Gaming, because they know that they could have actually won this game, and it was all decided in just tiny little moments. And this communication, the communication that I believe Singla was talking about earlier, when it comes down to S8UL Esports just being a little bit more than what Kakao Gaming has, might also be one of those important factors to decide on Madness.
Yeah, I definitely think so. And I think, those times where they look for the stragglers before a fight, go in on them instead, and before objectives, the timing is good. I think the macro, you can see the difference slightly between these two teams is earlier on with that rotation they made for the top and bot side. Earlier on where you see Copy coming bot side, he's losing his wave. It's already good timing for S8UL Esports. That's where you can see the experience coming out from this squad. I really like the calling of whoever's doing it behind the scenes. He's doing a fantastic job. Or if more of the players are chiming in, they seem pretty well synchronized. And I think if Catbot's allowed to live in a fight as the Sinja, the scatter of the winds with that CC is too much for anybody to deal with. You're not going to be catching out as Dead Corporal. The only time they could win a proper fight as Kakao Gaming is when Dead Corporal jumps in very early on onto Catbot before that Drake fight, neutralizes him, and that's when they had more of a winning chance, because RTO is such a huge guy in front. You have Catbot doing damage as well as the Zaya with the feathers, with a very tricky person to catch up with, how much damage, and Renata ults coming in. I think only the first Renata ult went wide. Except for that, they're pretty okay Renata ults coming in from the side of Kratos, and I think they was doing a bang on job. I think the entire squad played well. Like you said, it's definitely not a stomp by no matters whatsoever. There was a lot of goal swings coming in for both teams where each one was in the lead at a certain point. But I think the last 2 or 3 fights determined pretty much how this game was going to end, and it was looking like S8UL Esports had that step or edge ahead of Kakao Gaming, depending on the decision making in the last fights.
Yeah, and it seemed like the tale of that game was that whenever Kakao Gaming gave a call to S8UL, it was like, hey, we want to fight. And S8UL said, oh, you guys want to fight? Okay, we will fight. And that's exactly how this game kind of went. But they always seem to have the number, the caller ID coming in. They're like, oh, it's Kakao game again. They want to fight again? Let's give them the gauntlet. Throw down the gauntlet, give them something to fight for. But I really love the fact that both these teams are actually taking this approach and not really backing off. I feel like Copy could learn, like, he did towards the end of the game kind of demonstrate that he shouldn't be fighting this Renekton, and he could have instead tried to play a bit more passively, and it did end up, costing the top side of the map, which was, looking at the stats here, you can see that this was a very close game. 28-minute game, 56,000 to 49,000 goals, just about 7,400 gold in favor of S8UL Esports. 25, 20, 50 to 20, 25, 40 in terms of the overall KDA. It was 7 towers to 2. The Drakes, it didn't even get to an Elder, and I do believe that was 2 dragons actually taken, a small visual bug by Kakao Gaming there, but that is the dragon that cost them the Nexus. Yes, you can steal away our dragon, but we are going to take game 1 in a best of 5, and that's what S8UL Esports seem to have done. They took 1 Baron, they got a Rift Herald, they got 1 White Grub, and they were able to, more importantly, secure the Otacon. And now we are in this position where both these teams kind of need to put a stamp if they want to keep, a momentum swing heading into the second game. And Catbot, the man on his screen, the MVP, just dishing out more than 1k damage per minute. CS numbers doesn't really matter when you're exploding people and just being there with your team when your team really needs you. And that is why he is your MVP with a 13.625 GD as well. Has been, a staple for his team, no matter what kind of picks he does play on. And it's going to be up to W to now try to get something back along with his squad to try to make this a closer series. Because right now, Madness, it looks like S8UL Esports are playing on a slightly more higher level than the rest of the competition. And even though in the past, Kakao Gaming have kind of made it relatively close, this version of S8UL Esports seems to be still evolving and still growing. But same to be said about Kakao Gaming. And I do love a good underdog story, so I would love to see them try to take the second game, make it closer. Like you said, make it a series.
Yes, make it a series. Honestly, I think, like you said, this is going to light the fire underneath Kakao. And I believe this game was closer than any of the other 3 games they played in the upper bracket finals against S8UL Esports. So that makes a huge difference. But guys, before we jump right back into action with game 2, we'll take a very short break.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. This is Legends Ascend South Asian Tournament. This is Hades alongside Kaka, and we are in the grand final today between the two top teams in the South Asian region, Kakao Gaming and S8UL Esports. And it was a banger first game. It was so close, Kaka. If you were watching that game, you know that this could have been taken by either team, and it was the tempo that was the main determining factor with how that game played out. So what were your thoughts on that first matchup, and what do you expect to see coming into game two?
Yeah, I really thought Kakao Gaming could have taken that game. They were in the lead as well, especially when the Dragon spawned the Soul Point. That could have gone either way. Copy did some heavy lifting in that fight after a very abysmal, I would say, solo lane experience for him. But it was quite close, and I think the differentiating factor again was Infi and Cat bought the mid-jungle duo coming in for the side of S8UL. But now going into game two, it does look like Kakao Gaming have taken the blue side. Of course, has more win rate as well. The blue side generally, because you do get the first pick and you can, ban out target champions instead of just banning out the meta champion. So we will see how it goes. It does look like there are some changes being made. The Jarvan now finds himself getting banned, and from the side of S8UL, I do expect the Zinshao, the Nocturne, the Wukong bans, all three of those champions to come in. So let's see if they are able to do that.
Yeah, because both these junglers are very comfortable on these champions, but you can see the Hui has been taken off the board as well, which was also banned in game number 1. So they're gonna not give these, control mages avenue to really try to look for those, team fighting style engages that they need. And let's see what they, like you said, they're probably gonna ban out the junglers, pinch down that pool for both Infi as well as Dead Corporal. So let's see how they want to round it out. They take away, I can understand why. Lulu's just so strong in the hands of even Love2 or even Kratos. So these are both, comfortable picks for both these players and deserves a ban spot. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so they are going to give away one of the Nocturne or Wukong in this game to Dead Corporal. So let's see what that's going to be. This should be, the Lucian / Nami ban if they want to, not play against that. But it does look like they're taking their sweet time banning out champions. So Aurora gets banned here. Wasn't expecting that one to come in, honestly. I don't think it should be a high priority for either teams. And Catbot, again, has a champion Ocean, honestly. So I don't think he will mind facing 2 bans for himself, because he still has a lot of champions to play. For the side of S8UL, this could be Wukong. I don't think they would want to play against that champion, especially with how Dead Corporal did last night on that. And now the Nocturne is open, right? So I think the trade is you take the Nocturne and we take the Lucian Nami for ourselves. And that does look like a good trade to me if you are, S8UL.
Yeah, for sure. And it just shows that, that they are prepared. And they would probably be expecting a Nocturne to be picked here as well. So they probably already have a game plan against this champion. And let's see how if they're going to go for the Lucian Nami. Well, Zarakan is no longer available as it was picked in the first game. And even the Lucian Milio is also a possibility if they want to go in that option. Let's see what they want to pick.
Actually, you have to take the Lucian right here. You can leave out the support for sure and just pick up whatever is left. So I don't think that should be a problem. The Braum is quite good as well, but the Pantheon was left open, and Infi not going to hesitate at all, and he's going to pick that champion quite comfortable on that. And I do believe Pantheon, although slightly nerfed on this patch, still a very strong champion. You can take him towards the support role, essentially can play 4 lanes. So again, always a good pick, always a great flexible pick, but we do expect Infi to pilot that one in the jungle.
100%. And also he'll be able to match the Nocturne with his ultimates as well, so it gives him more agency. And now the Kai'Sa being picked up actually quite strong in this current meta with all of the item changes that came towards the ADCs in this patch. So this is a good setup that they have. So they're not going to go for the Lucian Nami. Instead, they're going to go for a bit more of a team fight and more scaling option. But now we have Sam's Ashe left open, and he is going to probably take that away. Well, he's going to at least be able to match the Kai'Sa lane, because Ashe is going to have a little bit more of an easier time. And also the double globals, the Enchanted Crystal Aloe and the Paranoia, can work wonders to just hold someone in place for the Nocturne to just explode when it comes down to picking people off. So very good setup here. But let's see how they want to round out this, and they're going to go with the support, of course. And they are going to pick up a Rel for themselves, which we might see an Alistair actually being picked up here, but that leaves avenue that Silas might be open, but can be banned if that is the case. So the Kai'Sa Alistair, and it's going to be Nautilus instead. So would it be the other option that pairs well with the Kai'Sa? But they could also go for the Braum, because this is a Nocturne and Rel and want to be engaging into you, but I guess they're comfortable with just going with the Nautilus instead to just have a bit more CC and pick potential.
Yeah, I would have loved to see the Braum come in, actually. I think that would have been a really good pickup against the Ashe Rel and the Nocturne as well. And you do expect some sort of a melee champion to come in towards the top side of the map as well. So I think that would have made more sense. But it does seem like they are more comfortable playing the Kai'Sa Nautilus lane. Again, by no means a weak lane at all. Do complement each other quite well with the passives coming in. So don't really mind the Nautilus coming in as well. Now the Aatrox gets banned. The Azir gets banned. I am not a big fan of that. I don't think that should have gotten banned from the side of W. But still, choking out his champion pool does seem like a good option. And the standard Kled ban from the side of S8UL against Copy, who has played that champion once and of course has 100% win rate as well. So he will be happy with that. Yeah, the Silas ban comes in. That does tell me, that W would want to play the Annie or maybe Lissandra for himself in the mid lane. I don't think he's going to go that route, because Talia is a good matchup into the Silas. You can do quite well as the Mordekaiser now comes in.
Silas is actually banned
again. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, you can give the Silas away when you want to pick Talia, because it is a counter matchup for the Talia. Having said that, it could still come in. So let's see what they decide to pick.
Okay, yeah, Copy has shown that he's actually pretty good on Cassante, and I think it was banned from him last game as well, alongside the Kled. So that was left open, and he's obviously going to pick that up. So this extremely broken champion, 300 years champion in the top lane has been picked up for Copy. And yeah, we would be no surprises to see a Witcher being picked here as well, because there's so much good setup. It's not going to be the Zed, 100% going to be something like a Witcher or yes, thank you. But now I'm guessing the answer is going to be something like an Annie here probably, because Lissandra will struggle 100% into a Witcher short range against this also very OP champion in the mid lane. So what's the answer going to be? They could still pick a Talia here. It's not really a bad pick, I think.
Yeah, but it's not what Catbot likes to play, and it's not going to be the Anivia as well. Don't worry about it. So let's see what he decides to pick. Annie, and looks like it's going to be the Annie. Yeah, I think that was quite expected as well. Both of these guys already running out of champ pool, since there are quite a lot of mid lane bans, especially from the side of Kakao, who did ban 3 champions against Catbot, and add to that the 2 champions that he has already lost from his champion pool in the last game in the form of Orianna and Syndra. So Annie makes the most sense, and it is a good pickup. Now both the teams have really hard engage coming in, and I think this is going to be a bloody battle once again, like it was in game 1, and we'll have to see who has the better team fighting, because if the past is of any significance, then S8UL should take this game too as well.
Yeah, and it's gonna be up to Kakao Gaming to actually, play spoiler in this. I do really like their composition. Like they have so much big potential with, the Ashe Nocturne combo. They have a lot of CC and setup for the Witcher with the Rel, and also Cassante to just completely, take somebody out of the fight if, the positioning was right. And but it's also answered in kindly with Mordekaiser also having an ultimate that can just remove one of the members from Kakao Gaming to make it, fight on their favor. So and when it comes to scaling, I kind of do favor the Witcher Ashe more than I do favor the Kai'Sa.
The Annie Kai'Sa, yeah.
The Annie Kai'Sa. But, Kai'Sa, of course, again, still a very strong champion, if left unchecked. She has plenty of CC to just reposition with Killer Instinct around these fights. But yeah, I feel like like you said, it's going to be a very bloody battle. But I just don't know if like I've told Madness before, Kaka, I do like to see like a closer series. So I would say because of the draft that Kakao Gaming have, that they actually do have a possibility of taking game number 2 and making this a series.
I 100% agree. I did think in game one as well. I preferred S8UL's draft a bit more, but in this game, it's quite even, honestly, and it is going to come down to how Infi plays it in the early game and which
Yes.
laner he decides to get ahead. Because if the Mordekaiser gets ahead, I think he's going to be quite comfortable in the side lane against the Kasante, and even in the bot lane, right? If the Kaisa gets ahead, they can essentially one shot the Ashe on site with the Nautilus ult coming in. So it is quite dependent on both the junglers, and we do expect that Corporal to farm out that level 6 before he is of any significance in this early game. So again, as I said,
and
depends a lot on Infi, and in the previous game as well on the Trundle, he was making moves. He did get 3 really early dragons as well, so he is the guy to watch essentially in the whole series, and well, we will be watching what he does in the early game.
Yeah, and in the first game, to whoever is watching, you notice how he just delayed his recall instead of taking that to help out his bot lane, and that kind of set the snowball and set a momentum and tempo that kind of took them through that entire game from start to finish. And on a champion like Pantheon with that kind of agency, we will see Infi definitely try to impact the early game and, like you said, get maybe the Mordekaiser or even his mid laner ahead in this or even his bot lane, because he knows that his team will back him up, and they are a team that they aren't afraid. The members aren't afraid to step up when the situation calls for it. So I guess it's going to be up to Kakao Gaming to try to have eyes on this Pantheon at all times. Play it, like maybe not overextend too much. Respect the damage that's going to be coming your way in the early game, and try to track this Pantheon, because that's the only way they'll be able to survive the early onslaught. I feel that S8UL are going to be definitely looking to bring.
Yeah, although I do feel Kakao Gaming do have their ways to victory as well, especially based off game one. I did think Lotus and Kratos were struggling in the bot lane in the 2v2s, and how the game went on as well. Sure, he got the 4-5 kills later on, but at one point they were a combined 0-8, 0-9 coming in, so that was quite a liability till it wasn't come the late game. So I think that is one avenue where Kakao can play and try to punish as well, because I do feel Sam is just more consistent when it comes to these sort of series as well. So if you can play around him, I think that could be the recipe of success, or at least try it for one game and see if it works, and if it doesn't, then maybe change it up. But if we are to go by game one, that is one avenue for sure for Kakao Gaming to upset the champions.
Yeah, and I think that it's all, like you said, they're going to have to rely on like the more consistent players on their squad to be able to, try to make this a closer series, because I'm pretty sure that they definitely 100% know that they could have taken that first game. And it was just like a few small mistakes that ended up costing them. So we're not going to maybe see any fancy shenanigans. I'm surprised that they're not maybe even grouping up S5 and running towards the bot lane with a Nautilus. But instead, they know that S8UL love to invade any side of the map when they have the chance to do that. But with this level 1 setup, I don't think we're going to see anything. But which is why I feel like, it would be nice to see the Nautilus kind of just go say hello to somebody, maybe try to force a summoner out.
Yeah, you could do that, but I think both the teams are just trying to play it very cautious, covering their entrance on all 5 sides. So don't really want to flip the game essentially at level 1, which is fine. Kratos, as you said, could go in with the Nautilus, but they don't really have that much CC. And as if you are in, you don't want to start your W first and then slow down the camp clearing speed for him. So makes sense. They are just going to place a ward on the Raptor camp though, just to check where the Nocturne is starting. Now they have that info that it is going to be on the top side of the map. So both the junglers just mirroring their jungle path, starting from top towards the bot side of the map. Again, we spoke about it in Champs. Like the bot lane seems to be the point of contest for both the teams, and the junglers are pathing towards it.
Yes, and that is where we're going to most likely see where Frostbite could potentially go, unless, of course, the other solo lanes decide to, duke it out, just like we just saw in the top lane there. So good trades across the board, and eyes are going to be a good hook lands actually. Love is going to take a little bit of damage, but he's okay. One more auto should have proc the passive from the Kai'Sa, but it's not going to be enough. And Copy seems to be also trading appropriately. CS numbers seem to be almost relatively even. Nocturne slightly ahead of tempo, and he also slightly ahead. But so far, that is a barrier burnt immediately by Sam. And Love to also having to burn his flash, not respecting the level 2 coming out of S8UL Esports.
Level 2 comes in, and that's a good punish as well from the side of S8UL. Burning 2 summoner spells from the side of Love 2 and Sam. So no flash on the rel. The info has been given to Envy. Make of that what you will from the Pantheon side. But for now, Kratos doing a really good job just pressuring, securing the brush for himself and creating that pressure for Sam and Love, who can't really step up aggressively anymore. Just want to push out, reset if they can early on, and then come back and just feel like they can lane. Having said that, now we can see Pantheon is taking the Gromp right now, so we might see a fight for the Scuttle Crab. But if you are Dead Corporal, and I think he will be making that smart choice, he will recall after taking that red buff, go towards the top side for the Crab.
Yeah, because he knows, he's not going to be able to match Nautilus and Pantheon and Kai'Sa. So, he's probably, or maybe he's just gonna not even take a recall, just gonna go straight for it. Yeah, he's just gonna go straight for it. He knows this, but it's gone. They know that one's gone. But yeah, so far everything seems to be almost even, except for I think the one camp advantage that Nocturne seems to have. But looking at how this was pathing, they knew that the pathing was going to be towards the bot quadrant of the map, but we're not likely going to see any kind of gank here. It's just a very stable, standard early game from both of these teams.
Yeah, and Love 2 seems to be having a good game for now. In the laning phase at least, has burned 2 pots from Catbot. Still quite low, but now Infi is looking towards the mid side. Love 2 still has the flash, so I don't think he should be any sort of trouble as Dead Corporal goes top, goes quite aggressive actually. RTO does have his W up, so I don't think that's a kill right there, and it wasn't. That was very aggressive. I'm not sure if that was needed. I mean, we could see that RTO would be fine, especially with his flash up and burns it and has the W as well. So that was quite a mistake right there. Dead Corporal and Copy both have to burn their flashes to get Mordekaisers, and he doesn't even die.
Exactly, and again, they don't have enough damage, and okay, you got the flash, be happy with it. You don't have to burn your summoner as well, because this means that now Pantheon is going to definitely use the series advantage, and Pantheon definitely does earlier on, and he's using this to actually get off even more camps before his first recall. So he's essentially going to come with one full component here plus some on this. So summer advantage for S8UL Esports at 5 minutes into the game. Hook connects immediately onto Love 2.
That's a very good Q right there. Yeah, Love 2 just buffering his Q right there. Just stalls any sort of engage coming out. But we are seeing some trades come in. Kratos connects his auto attack. Is going to stun Love 2. The Q misses actually. Love 2 might be in trouble. Does not have the flash available. And he's going to go down. That's going to be a 1-for-1 for now. Sam does have the barrier available. Is going to burn it, but I think he's going to die as well. Flash is up for Lotus if he wants to use that, but never mind. Just the W there is going to secure him the double kill, and I'm not sure if they needed to take that fight in the bot lane. That's going to translate into Dragon as well, which Infi is already doing. Advantage from the bot side that we were discussing so much after that game 1, but S8UL and their bot lane especially have stepped up in this game too, and a 2-for-2 kill right there, 2-for-1, sorry, and the Dragon, I don't think they'll mind that at all.
Not at all. And there's once that fight had already started, they knew that they was probably going to lose and try to make the most of the most. But as we go into live, Tiba comes and smacks the Victor on the back and is able to pick up the kill there. So that is another kill plus the Dragon going to S8UL Esports. We're 6 minutes into the game and we're already looking at a 1k gold lead. And he's not Infi's just going to continue power farming as well. Dead Corporal is also doing the same because he needs to also potentially maybe try to look to do something, get that level 6 and impact that he is level 6 now. He's going to be looking. Let's see which direction he's actually looking in. He seems to be looking top again. And I'm not sure
Yeah,
you want to do that
I
because Mordekaiser's ultimate is gonna be able to, negate
exactly. I
that.
don't think that works out if they do decide to gang the top lane. But Rift Herald, sorry, Void Grubs are going to come in a minute. So they do want some sort of priority right there. But the level 6 is up. So Nocturne should be
With
essentially
Infi.
looking towards the bot side. Infi is going to ult here. No flashes on the bot lane, especially the Ashe. And she's just sitting duck in that bot lane. She's going to die. The swaps are now going to come in as well. For the side of S8UL as they turn their eyes towards the Void Grubs. Love to trying to freeze for some reason. I don't think that's going to work out too much. Kratos should be looking to recall now. Uh, actually,
Oh,
Love to is taking a lot of damage here. Lotus does have the killer
he's
instinct. He's gonna
dead.
use that and gets the fourth kill of the game for himself. I'm not sure what Love to's plan was. You're trying to save a few minions, but at the cost of your uh, own
Of their
HP
life, of
bar,
his
I don't
life,
think
yeah.
that's worth it at all.
At the cost of his life. And he gave yet another kill over to this 4-0 Kaisa right now. It's 8 minutes into the game. White Grubs have spawned. They're going to be running immediately in that direction. Dead Corporal has already started, actually. And he's probably going to just only be able to get one. And let's see if he'll be able to get out with his life because the rest of KKG are actually closing in. They had to, okay, they actually forced the Pantheon away. This is good. Now they are looking to try to pick up any more than this. I don't know if they do want to risk it though. Paranoia has been cast, but where is the Nocturne? In
Ooh,
comes
nice
the
arrow.
arrow right on top of Infi, and he is exploded. But the same is to be said to W, who stands in place and takes all that CC. And it's Nautilus who picks up the kill credit, but they're not done here. Nautilus gets a double
It's a
kill.
triple for the
Nautilus
Nautilus.
gets a triple kill. He is taking the game into his hands. So Kratos is just like, I am the carry now. Look at me, people. I will carry this game. I'm not sure if he really meant to do all of that, but maybe just caught up in the moment. And this is just, I'm not sure why Kakao Gaming are trying to contest like this. Get one white drop, okay, be happy with it, and just like back away.
Yeah,
I don't know, Kakao.
it was a good arrow to start off the fight. Honestly, the Pantheon just went down very early on. The hook again connects, and look at the damage from Lotus right here. Dead Corporal does have the flash, so maybe he wants to use the flash E. That's exactly what he's going to do. The fear comes in. That's going to be a shutdown picked up for the Nocturne right there. Some sort of overextension from the side of S8UL's bot lane. Don't think it's going to matter too much, but yeah, talking about the Void Grubs fight, right, that they pick up the Pantheon, but somehow W finds himself in melee range. Maybe he got hooked. We'll have to go back and see what exactly happened there. But once he goes down, and the Victor does need quite a lot of time to scale up, that fight was essentially done. And yeah, you can see the lead as well. Almost 2,000 for the side of S8UL. Have picked up the Dragon, have picked up 2 Void Grubs for themselves. And will be looking towards the second Dragon that's going to come up. But
Copy!
in the lane, RTO just messing with Copy after taking so much damage right there. And he's going to die for it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was just watching Copy throughout that entire sequence, Kaka. Forgive me if I wasn't paying attention, but like he is playing this champion so well right now. Like this is, I can understand why it was bad against him, man. This is good because Kakao Gaming are getting something back, you know. And I would like to just maybe jump back into the live game because I would like to see the amount of gold the Dead Corporal had farmed up, and now as we go into live, he has used his paranoia. He was able to recall and get a full item. I was about to say he's gonna get a full item on his recall and then immediately use his ultimate, which he did. But now a good hook lands onto Love 2, as well as
So
the
TP is
ultimate
coming
from the
in
Nautilus.
from. Yeah, the TP comes in, but I don't think it's going to matter too much right there.
Yeah.
Ashe is that she's going to get the kill. No! Lotus actually able to get out for a second. The Pantheon ult is going to come in soon as well, but Infi is in trouble and he's going to die as well. That's going to be a 2-for-1 trade for now for Kakao, and they could be chasing for more right here. Kratos looks like he's in trouble as well. The Death Ray is there. Catbot and Kratos both running for their lives might get out, but W actually flashing very aggressively right. Maybe he ends up dying. Yes, he does. I don't think that was needed. Love to is now here. Connects his Q onto Catbot. Sam will shut down the Nautilus. And let's see who picks up this shutdown right here. The auto attack should do it. Love to seems like he's going to get that one. So over aggressiveness yet again from the side of S8UL's bot lane. And they are going to get punished with all the TPs and everything that has come
Everybody.
down from the side of Kakao Gaming.
Yeah, and yeah, this is just, I think they're just so caught up in the hype of everything that's been happening that they're just kind of like, forgetting about, they're not keeping track of, recall timers, they're not keeping track of summoners. And I would have liked to see maybe Victor get that kill area that Dead Corporal did take, because he's 0-3 right now and kind of struggling. He just was barely able to complete his Rod of Ages. But now, like, even with the advantage that Kakao Gaming had, this means a second dragon still goes to S8UL Esports, who had now claimed the feats of
Yeah.
warfare for the Blood Week.
Yeah,
Um,
it's the tempo advantage that they had right after dying and spawning
Yeah.
up quickly as well, while the enemy team had to reset. So they are going to yet again pick up the second Drake, and that was the story of last game as well. Sure, you were getting a lot of kills from the side of Kakao in game one as well, but the objectives, it has been pretty one-sided. The grubs as well. Now two dragons, they are on their way to secure the soul point as well, at around 16-17 minutes if they pick up the third dragon as well. So it is a cause of concern for the side of Kakao, and they need to fight around these objectives instead of just fighting for no reason, even if you are winning those fights.
Yeah, and yeah, right now, I mean, with the amount of tempo that they have, they are going to definitely be looking to use this advantage, because even though the gold is relatively dead even at 30 minutes into the game, which was the same, to remind you, Kaka, even in the last game, these two teams, like if you look at the gold graph, it's basically just going up and down, like just by small margins here
Yeah.
and there, and it seems to be the case in this as well. But I still think that Kakao Gaming do have the avenues and possibilities to win this game. They just need to be able to make plays like
Okay.
this, demonstrating just how good he is on this champion and why the champion is banned against him. Is not afraid to take the Mordekaiser into his own death realm. Death realm not even being used, but down comes the Pantheon from the skies. The flash forward is going to be able to secure the kill. Infi is on the board, picking up his first kill of the game. And now in the bot lane, the pressure is starting to mount. Lotus and Kratos are going to try to look for an avenue to maybe try to just get some damage, maybe try to get this turret, because it's a battle on two fronts. Top lane turret is low, bot lane turret is low. Who's going to get it first? In comes a Paranoia, and that is a poor Annie. Her bear is not going to be able to save her this time, and this means that the top turret is definitely probably going to fall for Kakao
Yeah.
Gaming.
I think that should have been an expected Nocturne ult. You did see your own jungler towards the bot side of the map who's trying to dive the enemy Ashe. That's going to come in. The killer instinct comes in. Sam is just going to die. I don't think he gets to play the game right there. Love to. Quite tanky for now, but you can see the
He needs to run
Victor
away.
is coming down. They're just going to finish this turret off. No, W is here actually, so I think he's fine. The Arcane Storm comes in, and that's going to be a shutdown. It seems
more
like
laser.
if he can connect the Death
he
Ray, no, he's
misses.
going to miss it actually. But Infi might be in trouble now. The TP is coming from
Teleport
Mordekaiser. I think that's too
Copy
late
is
for now.
back.
Copy is here, and he's just gonna slay everyone. It looks like the W comes in from Copy. W picks up that kill onto Infi. RTO secures one for himself.
Lotus.
Still has the Death Realm should he decide to use that. Not doing it for now, and Copy goes down as well. And now Lotus is going to pick up one more for
Dead
himself.
Corporal.
That fight was very close and could have gone to either side, but it looks like S8UL will once again get the better of it. Meanwhile, as you said, Dead Corporal was picking up the Rift Herald. Now the Flash Ultimate from Annie connects onto two. Mordekaiser, yet again, the beneficiary of those two kills. Now the TP is coming in. W, I'm not sure what you're trying to do right there.
It is an
Dead
Alchemist
Corporal
Storm.
comes in. He's gonna slay the Kaiser right there, but the hook is really nice. W ends up going down once again. He just spawned and then TP'd and then died again, and Nocturne is going to die as well. So I'm not sure if that's worth for the side of Kakao. Yes, they got the Rift Herald, but they lost two turrets. They lost a lot of kills, the TPs, the flashes as well. So I think it's a disaster for the side of Kakao Gaming.
Yeah, I mean, this was just like these guys are getting baited into fighting each other, and S8UL are ahead on tempo, so you're choosing to fist fight against a team that has a tempo advantage over you, which means, like, if you look at how things have gone in the past, it's not looked good for them. And once again, like signs of weakness from Kakao Gaming. They're trying to contest everything, they're trying to fight everything, and it's not working out for them, and they're still not done. Now, as the blue buff invade has come in, I think they're just going to leave it now. They know that they have to fight for this dragon because they're otherwise, conceding soul point again. But now look at the pressure mounting. You can see that the gold lead has ballooned into almost 5,000 right now, 4,000, pardon me. And you can see this game is still on a knife's edge. I mean, if one team fight goes in either team's favor, this dragon is going to be the next final contest. But they're going to be battling for priority in the mid side as well. Okay, hold that top. Lotus actually gets caught out here. And in goes the Cassante, and he's going to take it down. The kill credit goes to Dead Corporal, who is now just cleaning house on this champion. They are diving this tier 1 turret with the Herald behind them, but the Death Realm does mean that they're going to stall it out a little bit, but this Mordekaiser is so low, and he's going to get killed as well. Tibbers does come down. It's not going to be enough to save his top laner's life. Catbot is left on his lonesome, and right now Kakao Gaming have actually turned this around and will probably pick up the dragon for themselves.
Yeah, it just... Nope. I am not even sure what to say anymore,
Why aren't they taking the dragon?
Catbot uses his TP towards the bot side of the map, and good decision making, from the side of Kakao Gaming to start off that fight. The arrow was really crucial. Lotus could have flashed that, saw it coming, but chose not to do that. The TP was really bad from Catbot. I'm not sure if that was miscommunication from either side, because he was TPing towards the bot side and the fight breaks out in the mid lane. So he has to walk over half of the map to even reach there, but he wasn't on time. So these are the sort of mistakes that can turn around the game, and now looks like Kakao Gaming are going to try and contest it, albeit they do not have 4 ultimates available to themselves. Dead Corporal, the only one with his Paranoia up.
Yeah, but the fight ensues, and the Paranoia is used immediately, and they're going to jump right on top of the Kai'Sa. He's going to run away, but now this leaves the Love 2 alone with 4 members surrounding him. He's most likely going to die. Kill credit goes over to Annie and her Tibbers, but that is not available. Flash forward from Dead Corporal to secure the double kill, but look at this. Look at this Sam. Sam is left untouched. He's orb walking all over them. He's going to choose a product target, snipe them down. And Sam, you leave an Ashe unchecked in a team fight, this is what she can do. And not only do they get the dragon, they are going to even up this gold lead, and actually for maybe the first time in this second match, have a gold swing in their favor after picking up the dragon.
Yeah, and Copy is just doing God's work in this game, honestly. Goes to the backline, finds Lotus the most fed carry. The member available from the side of S8UL, he ends up going down first. The Tibbers was massive, right? That dealt a lot of damage, but it wasn't enough in the end. As Sam is, as you said, just kiting everyone and everything right there. Gets the triple kill for himself. And you have to remember, Rel still had her ult up. The Nocturne was the only one who had the ultimate available to start off the team fight. And it turned out to be quite crucial, as the Lotus was the first one to die.
Yeah, and this Cassante is huge right now. He has completed his adaptive helm as well. And now you can see, they were all in on going on one of the key carries of S8UL Esports, which is as Squishy Lotus, and Catbot is also relatively quite squishy, but has completed the Bloodletter's Curse. Is going to be able to.
They are starting Atakan right here, Hades, yes, but indeed. I'm not a big fan of this call coming in from the side of S8UL. They are still not doing enough to fight, and Catbot is going to go down. The Atakan is picked up by Pantheon, but let's see how the team fight goes. Lotus gets knocked into 3 people. He's going to go down pretty soon as well. W still untouched. Nice gravity well from him. Infi still quite low, but he's going to survive as well. The pull is really nice from RTO, and somehow from the deficit they end up winning this fight.
Yeah, so the last jungle objective went in the favor of Kakao Gaming, and this jungle objective goes in the side of S8UL Esports, and you might have Cassacurs them here. You said you didn't like it, but instead they choose to just turn it around in their favor, so they reverse Uno card what you thought might be the case, Kaka. They actually came out on top with the Atakan as well as the team fight at the end of that. And this means that they are going to have, control over the top side of this map, as Baron will be spawning in about 3 minutes from now. And the gold seems to be in favor of S8UL Esports, even though, albeit slightly, still a mid-tower stands. the tier 1 tower still stands in the mid lane for Kakao Gaming, which is going to be so crucial for them as we enter this mid game period. And I think that S8UL probably want to barrel down and maybe try to get this off the map because they know this big jungle objective that's spawning next is going to be detrimental to how this game plays out. So they need to make something work for them.
Yeah, but I do think now it's going to be pretty hard for the side of Kakao to come back. I think that was the fight that they should have won, but the victor did not have the Arcane Storm available. And for now, that champion is really not doing enough in these team fights, except for providing CC. That is not his job at all. Does need his items, but W has fallen so behind. 22 minutes, barely 120 CS for himself, 7 deaths, highest in the game, alongside his support. So he needs to be dishing out the damage numbers, and I think he's gonna go down once again. The Tibbers still not come in yet. Catbot is in trouble. The Paranoia is pretty good.
What an arrow.
They were covering their mid laner, right? Their copy is trying to dive between turrets. He goes very low. He's gonna die. Bad decision from him as he burns his TP and goes down. The Dread Realm has come in onto W. And he might end up going down. Does burn the flash. Lotus jumps in with the killer instinct towards the back line to finish off the kill. And yet again, S8UL is going to run away with this team fight.
Yes, they are, and this is just like they're trying to like throw everything and a kitchen sink at an Annie, but why? I mean, there's no objectives to fight around. Why? They have look at their lanes. They have 2 pushing lanes in the mid lane and in the top. They could. Why are they playing around the bottom half of the map? Oh, yeah, but that turret is not essentially needed at this point in the game, and they. I don't understand. So Kaka, maybe to help me understand why they would choose to force the fight on that side of the map when clearly the lanes were pushing in the other side of the map for them.
Yeah, I just think they are just trying to funnel the resource onto the wrong guy. Copy was the one who was doing quite well in the laning phase. It should have been him getting the attention from the Nocturne and the ganks and everything as well, but somehow the Victor is getting the help. Kratos burns his flash, might be in trouble here. The Paranoia comes in. That's going to be the dead Nautilus right there. But again, lots burn to kill him. The Ash arrow comes in. The Paranoia as well. Copy now seems like he's in trouble. Lotus should be safe. Has the flash available. All 5 members strong for Kakao towards the bot side. And yeah, the bot wave is not good, and that just enables the Annie to pick up the top turret as well. And this is how Kakao plays, right? Their sort of belief to come back in the game is to fight it out, and that does not work against teams who are better at team fighting. Catbot TPing very deep, will have the perfect flank actually. No wards behind, has the flash as well. Keep your eye on that one as he is going to go in, but the Rel engage was pretty good. Kakao Gaming doing really well to engage towards the opposite side. Catbot now flashes and finishes off W, but that is going to be the second dragon, it looks like, picked up for the side of Kakao.
Yeah, and like you said, you called it earlier, these guys are going to throw everything at the kitchen sink at S8UL Esports because, like I even told to Madness last game, they're not done here. Lotus doesn't have summoners. And here comes the Paranoia. That is 1 dead Lotus. And also under threat is Catbot. He's going to try to take down somebody with him. He's able to actually get the kill.
That could be Baron
on Sam. But yeah, this means that Baron is on the cards. But more crucially, do they have the damage? Sam was killed in that fight. No, they don't
but
have the
Victor
damage.
is going to come in soon. Yeah, I think they will take their victory for now, though. Got the dragon, got a couple of kills as well for themselves. And Sam looks like he's the one who is going to carry this game if they are from the side of Kakao are going to win this one. The bot inhib is quite low, but again, keep your eyes on Sam. Has 3 items completed, is going for his 4th. Looks like the Infinity Edge or the Bloodthirster that might come in. And yeah, he is set up quite well actually to win this game for the side of Kakao. Although they are still 4,000 gold behind, they are showing up in these team fights.
Yeah, and like you said, Log 2, you have to be super careful, bro. Oh no. He's dead. Oh, but the hook goes wide. Log 2 is able to Corporal, you don't want to sacrifice your life as your own support. And the flash was also having to be blown as well. Oh, this is not good. This means that S8UL are going to 100% start off this Baron because they know they have the advantage. coming into this, and then now it is up to Kakao Gaming to face check into this Baron. They use their blue trinket as well, and now the Baron dance begins. We're going to be playing a game of vision. It's going to be who steps up first. I don't like how this is looking for Kakao Gaming right now.
No, Catbot has a really good flank. He can find Victor right there. The Tibbers comes in, but he's gonna die first. The paranoia did come in. Lotus had to flash away, but this looks like a decent team fight still for the side of Kakao. Copy is just buying so much space in the top of your screen. Infi now goes down. That Cassante is just so scary right now. RTO gets all outed right there, and he's gonna die as well, and that is going to be Baron for the side of Kakao. And again, a very disruptive team fight, and Kakao just ends up winning this. Let's see if they want to try to contest this. Still, Lotus is quite low. I'm not a big fan. I think you just give this one up and just lick your wounds later on, because that Cassante is not going to die regardless. They are still trying to fight it out. I'm not sure if that's the play, guys. Dead Corporal, though, is quite low right now. Lotus gets ignited. Copy still onto the backline. The TP is coming in now from the side of Catbot. See if he can find the flank. Copy goes down. The Baron has been slain for the side of Kakao, but can they run away with it? W uses his flash to get out. Catbot might have his E coming pretty soon, but Sam is here, and he's going to be the one who might end up dying right there. Actually, no, he's going to survive as well. But on the top side, Love 2 ends up going down. So that is going to be a 3-0. But crucially, the Baron buff still stays on one member from the side of Kakao.
Yeah, on Sam. Yes, Sam was able to keep the Baron buff, and they should use this to push out the mid lane. I feel like that's the only lane that's kind of like pushing in their favor right now. Or they could use this to stall right now. It is 28 minutes into the game, and as we take stock of what has happened, Kaka, this is still almost such a small gold lead. Is basically insignificant at this point. Both teams are on 2 dragons apiece as
nice
well.
Arrow there.
And oh my goodness, the arrow from Sam, Kobe Bryant in the house. And you're not going to be able to get this last one
Still
out.
not enough,
he
though.
actually was able to get up. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I cast a curse him. I'm so sorry, my friend.
Yeah, still not enough. RTO is quite tanky, especially with his items now plated, steel caps upgraded, proto belt, Leandries, Rylai's, all of which give him quite a lot of HP for himself. So he's gonna survive, and those are 2 really big ultimates that just went down. Pantheon now is ulting towards the bot side. Sam has to run away, still has the flash available. The W, the volley from Ash is going to slow them. Copy still the meat shield right there. Is quite tanky, and in the team fights can deal quite a lot of damage. It looks like we are going to get a team fight. The Q3 from Copy is massive, is going to stun 2 members right there, but it is a 5 versus 4 as W is on the top side of the map. So I'm not sure why Kakao is fighting this at all, and they are going to lose 2 members. The guy with the Baron buff is on the top side. Just don't fight, Kakao Gaming. What is the plan right there?
The plan is this: W to like stop them from recalling, to let W just take this. He's gonna take it in front of Catbot, and he also has a level advantage, but he doesn't want to overextend. So he's using the Baron to his advantage. But yeah, this Dragon's gonna go for them. But it's still Soul Point picked up. S8UL Esports. 30 minutes into the game, people. This is a bloody game. We are at 81 kills, I think. No, sorry, 72 kills. I can't even math right now. But this game is
71.
on a
That's
knife.
okay.
Yeah, 71. This game is on a knife's edge, but this is exactly what we are expecting. Like I said, Sam now has completed his 4th item, which has also been matched by his counterpart in Lotus, who has also she has picked up a Mercurial Scimitar for herself, and also with the added stats that she gets from the 3rd item, I forgot the name of the 3rd item that she has in her inventory right now, the one that gives the bonus stats. It's a very good pickup, I was going to say, basically. But yeah, a lot is going to depend on how these teams kind of approach these fights, because they have looked so close every single time. And man, Copy is, playing his heart out. He's literally carrying the whole of Kakao Gaming on his shoulders right now, and a lot is relying. Recall being channeled, it's not going to get spotted. But now that they know the Pantheon is up there, they're going to try to push their advantage into the mid lane. And yeah, let's see how the next quadrant plays out, because they do have super minions, remember, pushing into the top side of the map, Kaka. So they have some.
Yeah, and that has opened the gates for the side of Kakao. So that could be the win condition if they need one to end this game. W did a good job. I just think his team should have survived that. Uh, but yeah, I mean, that was a pretty close game yet again. And let's see what happens in this one.
Yeah, and I think right now, with the advantage that they have, they are going to finally, at 32 minutes, claim this bottom chart that proved to be the turning point for them, and how they ended up throwing in the first quadrant of this game. But now S8UL Esports are barreling down the mid lane. They're trying to keep some semblance of control on this top side of the map. And it looks like the resets are going to come through actually from Kakao Gaming. I feel like now they need to look for a fight. If you look at the summoners, all of their summoners are available, other than for W's, but his flash will be coming up in time for this fight. All of the ultimates are available. And yeah, this is going to perhaps, I feel, be like the final fight that we are going to see. But there's no objective on the map, so I'm not sure which team is going to pull the trigger first here. I feel like 100% Kakao Gaming.
Kakao, yeah, there you go. The arrow connects, but
it's
only onto Nautilus right there. So I don't think that's the guy you want to be stunning. The Mordekaiser as well is quite low, but uses the Death Realm, has the W available as well if he wants to do that copy. Meanwhile, on the back line, trying to zone out Lotus, who flashes in to finish the Nocturne right there. Ash has gone down already. The Victor now, that is going to be a clean ace coming in for the side of S8UL, and that is going to be surely game 2 secured as well from the side of S8UL on the back of the Ash arrow that connected onto the Nautilus. I'm not sure that was the team fight that Kakao were looking for, but it's what they get, and it's not enough. And still S8UL now go in total 7 games up, and in this series 2 games up against Kakao.
Yeah, and yeah, I hit on the Nautilus, but then why throw everything at a support? Like, I mean, okay, you just I don't understand. But again, this happened to them in the first game, and Kakao Gaming, unfortunately, it happened to them at the second game, and there wasn't even an objective to fight over this time. So, as was, history does tend to repeat itself in this bloody game, which again could have gone both ways. But it does seem, Kaka, that S8UL Esports are always just one step ahead, even though everything has been a little bit close. Their decisiveness, their decision making, it just seems to be slightly more than Kakao Gaming can seem to throw at them right now. But I have to give them props. They are playing really well. You know, like we are seeing an S8UL Esports, I believe, who is, you know, still yet to show that they have reached their full cap. And even though we look at this replay, like you can see, they're using everything onto the Nautilus. But as the fight plays out, their HP bars, their HP bars are not sustaining enough. And once Sam is, just locked up in place, he's just going to die. And that is not how we want to play out these fights. You want to protect your Ash. You want to fight front to back. You want to try to look for good opportunities to fight on your terms. But instead they got baited into a fight, and they ended up costing them the second game and the Nexus. But yeah, S8UL Esports with the commanding victory. Decisive, not commanding, but a decisive victory in game number 2 of this series.
Yeah, and that has been the theme of the series so far. A lot of fighting coming in. The CS numbers are just abysmal as well to look at. So let's not even discuss that. But the team fight, I mean, S8UL is the best team fighting team in the region, and by far. So if that's the game you want to play against them, this is going to be the result. As we have seen now, 2 games back-to-back loss for Kakao, where they did find themselves in some sort of lead in both the games, actually. But again, just took the wrong fights and ended up throwing whatever lead that they had for themselves. As we look at the scorecard for this game, to 9 turrets to 6, very close. Dragons as well, 3-2. The Baron was picked up from the side of Kakao on the back of a really nice team fight. The Rift Herald as well picked up from them. The Atakan and Grubs for the side of S8UL. And look at the goal difference. It's not much. It's hardly 5,000-6,000 for the side of S8UL. So it is quite close still. But Kakao Gaming just need to make better decisions if they want to come back into the series. And now they are up against it. facing the 2-0 deficit, one more, and this tournament is done essentially for them. And it is going to be quite hard, but they are, trying their best. I just think they can do better when it comes to the decision making.
Yeah, and now is where we're gonna see if they now how is their mentality after this as well, because I'm sure they're gonna be quite heartbroken. But oh, my man Kratos right here repping the Sri Lankan flag is our MVP, 7-5-30 on this, a bloodthirsty Nautilus, but he was with his team right throughout in almost every single fight, landing those hook on the key members, peeling for his carry, and has taken the MVP spot. So well played by him. And 1.1 CS per minute, Nautilus being an MVP, I would take that. Take that. So
Yeah,
but
he does have more kill participation than the enemy had kills combined. So he was doing very well, especially in the laning phase. Gets that level 2, gets his AD carry, the advantage that was needed to carry the game. So this guy did a lot, along with Infi, along with shout out to RTU as well, who was doing quite a great job on the Mordekaiser after what was a very forgettable laning phase for him. Copy was styling on him in the laning phase at least, but when it came to the team fight, RTO was again just what he does, right? His team fighting is really good. But again, Kratos, the MVP for game 2 from the bot side of the map for S8UL, and they will hope that this continues going into game 3 and they make a quick work of this series, because it has been close, but S8UL are still picking up the big number that is needed, the 2-0 for them so far. Having said that, guys, we will be back for game 3 pretty soon as we take a short break. And when we come back, let's see if S8UL can 3-0 Kakao, or if Kakao can, mount some sort of comeback. So we'll be back very soon. Stay right there.
Guys, welcome back to League of Legends at South Asia. It's me, Madness, alongside Singla for this game 3. And the way it's looking, this could be the last game of the series. S8UL Esports versus Kakao Gaming. This is your grand finals of Legends Ascent, and looks to be going all S8UL's way right now. Kakao Gaming seemed to have the lead a couple of times in both matches, honestly, and they were throwing it away kind of in those last two fights. An Ash Arrow that's hitting a Nautilus is not the kind of utility you want. The Nautilus was landing good engages as well from the side of their side. Copy had a good lead early on, but couldn't materialize it later. And I think that's a lot of problems coming in for them. So now we're going to have a side switch over here. Game 3, Kakao Gaming will be taking on to the blue side, given that their first pick. Traditionally, blue side does have a higher winning percentage, slightly more, because that first pick does change a bit of how drafts look both ways, Singla.
No, 100%. I think, the games have been very, very close today. We did not have a one-sided game. It's something, kept me very indulged into the game. Kakao genuinely had leads in both the games in the early game, but could not close it into their favor. But without wasting any more time, let's directly jump into the draft of Game 3.
We are jumping right into the draft over here. The Jarvan ban comes out. That is one of Infi's signature champions, but this is a man who can play pretty much every single jungler you give to him. So I'm not the type to want to narrow down. Copies, Cassante is out, the Jax is out as well, a lot of ADCs out of the picture. Let's see what comes in. The Lulu ban still remains primarily on the minds of S8UL Esports, because the Lulu is a good enchanter to pair up with a lot, can interrupt a lot of fights. The Eloy ban, make sure RTO doesn't get onto it. He also plays this champion pretty well. And we're getting to the point where RTO's champion also has taken quite a bit of a hit in terms of what he can play. He does still have a lot of options open, and even this time, in the first rotation itself, the Kled ban against Copy, given that the Kakao Gaming have the blue side, it's a good first pick. Copy is known as that OTP Kled from back in the days, and we haven't got to see it that much. Only once in Legends Ascent was it let through, and even in that game, he did pretty well. Doesn't even know 1v2 in the top side. The Aurora ban against Catbot makes complete sense. He is known to be a monster on this champion, pretty much 1v9ing when he gets this, and snowballs out of control. With this said, let's see what the last ban will be from S8UL Esports.
I think that's correct. This is game 3, which is very, very important for Kakao to win if they still want to remain relevant into the evening. Because if S8UL win another game, they win the series. So yeah, with keeping that in mind, Aurora has been stolen away from Catbot because he's been performing really well, and Shinzao gets locked in instant for Dead Couple, denying it from the hands of Black NP. Let's see what is that they're going to blind pick first. Hovering the Kata, but I don't think the Kata is the champion that Catbot will be playing with, and locks in the way for himself.
Who gets locked in. This was previously banned out against Dead Corporal. Wants to go for the Zinja, very early game type of jungler where you can roam as much as you want, and you can cause quite a bit of main, get your lanes ahead. Pretty much Infi what he does on the Trundle, because that Trundle was very good in that game 1. The Viego getting locked in for Infi, playing yet another carry jungle. He's going to be popping off on this. If he gets the resets, that could be detrimental to the side of Kakao if it comes down to it. And we have to see if maybe we even see some lane swaps also coming out from Kakao game. Pretty much their signature strategy when they head into later games in a best of 5 fearless draft, and we have to see what comes out. Sam does pick up the misfortune for himself. Love to won't have the rel available, but any other good heavy engage, even like a Maokai as well, will do pretty well in these kind of comps in this scenario. What
Leona
else
is
can we expect?
available.
The Leona will get locked in. We don't have the rel, but we have the second best option. That's going to be that Leona locked in for Love to. Now with the engage on his side, I think he's going to do well. And just to counter that, the Braum getting picked up does good against the bullet time, so that would be instrumental pickup coming in for them. What kind of ADC are they looking to pair that up with?
Yeah, I think Braum is a fantastic pick into the MF, into the melee Shinzao and Leona. So yeah, I think that is something that they planned after. Lucian is still available for the side of, I think, in this game that can still banned taken away from the Kakao side, because Lucian does fantastic with the Braum. But let's see, the Azir has been taken away from W. Galio been taken away from W. Sivir is banned, against Lotus, and let's see where the last ban of the evening is invested, and it is the Lucian that I was just talking about. With that, I think Ash already being banned out because it's a fearless draft. Wayne is a good pick that we have seen in the hands of Lotus, performing really well. Not the best pair up, but it is the Yunara that Madness you were looking forward for. Lotus being the only player who's been spamming this champion into the Legend Ascent South Asia and been doing so well on it.
I think the only other guy who played was Potato Monster in yesterday's series, but yeah, I think Lotus, the guy who has played it, also quite the most. Lotus paired up the Nar with the Braum is not bad yet. The Vayne wouldn't have been the best kind of matchup with the Braum on the bot side, and Vayne is pretty much Lotus is pretty much the only one who actually ends up playing that. Instead, W getting banned out pretty heavily, right? The Azir, the Galio, but I think if you let the Azir go through, it can still be like a double-edged sword because sometimes W does not perform to the variety you'd like an Azir to play. On the bike getting hovered by Love 2.
No,
I
that's
was
just for
not
fun.
quite sure about that. They were just, messing around with us. Yeah, and that's going to be the Gwen getting locked in. So I'm maybe expecting Dead Corporal taking Gwen top and then Copy going jungle on the Zinjao. We can see something on this variety, or they can also vice versa. This is a team that loves to change it up. And RTO going to play another one of his signature champions in the top side. This is going to be the Aatrox as the counter pick up to the Gwen for them on that side. So that's your Game 3 draft getting locked in. RTO will be picking up the Aatrox. It looks like Dead Couple will be piloting the Xin Zhao. So they're going to stick to the roles they had. They haven't bring in the Kakao, signature that we saw in that best of 5 in qualifier 1 where they were almost turning it around as S8UL Esports. They have now stuck to everybody just playing their specific roles. And this is a comp that can excel pretty well. The Gwen's going to scale quite nicely, but the Yunara is there to answer as well. In terms of CC, you have a bit in the Zinjao, the Leona, but on the other side, you have the knockouts from the Aatrox, you have the Braum passive, you have the Fears from the Hui, them getting stunned up together, as well as Viego getting recess. That could be deadly in team fights. Yet to see what kind of build Viego will be going, because now Kraken Slayer is very popular early build wise. Can go the Trinity Collector. It's up to how Infi's going to play the champion. I'm no one to tell Infi how to play a champion because this man is pretty much the best jungler you have right now in our region. You have the best jungler. You have the best pretty much in all roles on the side of S8UL Esports, and this is going to be a really, really tough battle for Kakao if they want to make, because the only way they can end up winning is through a reverse sweep, and reverse sweeping someone like S8UL Esports, who are the top dogs in this matchup, is going to be a very, very hard thing if they want to commit. But hopefully they don't at least let it go a 3-0 and be a repeat of the upper bracket finals. I at least want to see some fighting coming out from them towards the end, showing why they have been chosen as the second best team in the region, why time and time again they have made S8UL drop games. I really want to see that side come out for them in this game 3.
And I think you will, man. That's what you asked for. I mean, all the games that Kakao has played has tried to give him the best. I mean, they got the early game advantage. Ash being so fed into the last game is just about that one decision that was made wrong. And SHU being the team that they are, they knew how to make the most out of that one mistake, getting back into the game and closing closing the game to a victory. This game, Kakao has to be more and more careful about. I mean, especially when it comes to drafting, I think both the drafts are very balanced, and the games are going to be so much more exciting. This can be the last game of today's evening, but I still have very, very high hopes from Kakao. I think they're going to put up a fight. I think they're going to steal away at least one game out of the pocket because they have a great combo. I mean, with a Leona, with a Gwen, and MF and Mel alt coming in. When it comes to team fighting, they can do so much. I mean, it will also highly depend on the way if he's able to do that AOE damage and taking out the alt. A 4-member alt or a 5-member alt. In the past, I've seen W missing those alt a lot onto the way, but right now it's in the hand of Catbot. I mean, I got the jizz. I mean, I got a little bit of chills when he showed that Kata was being hovered there, because I haven't seen him playing Kata, Catbot playing Kata in a very, very long time. So I was so excited. Maybe into the final game, we're going to see Catbot playing that Katarina again. But no, he locked in the way. but expecting nothing less from a man with his caliber. And we are going to jump in soon into the game three of today's evening.
Yeah, and talking about Catboot, like he was a bit of hit and miss with that Annie in the last game. I saw one tippers that was like basically in the middle of three people, and it's nobody over there. And historically, he's not done that well on that champion. I think even in that qualifier one of the games where they dropped to Kakao is when he was playing the Annie. So maybe he's not up to his way, but the Hue is definitely up his alley. He's shown to put on MVP like performance on the champion, and it will be special. Like you, I was also teased a little bit with the Katrina pickup. We haven't got to see him play throughout Legends itself. I would like to see him at least once coming in. Maybe when you're 2-0 up in a series, take it, play it in this game and have some fun with that. At least come release that onto the Rift. But he's not going to choose that. He's going to go other options. But at the end of the day, it is still Catport. It is still one of the best mid laners you will be seeing in South Asia. He will be performing hopefully better compared to at least last game. Game 1, he was also looking pretty nice. Game 2 was a bit of a changeover, but Kratos picks up the slack. Infi's doing pretty well also in these games. I think the top side RTO fell behind quite a bit to copy early on, so I want to see a better fighting going after this because given that you have counter pick technically with the Aatrox against the Gwen, so hopefully he can manage that side. And I think Kakao Gaming are have a bit of a time limit how these comps are going because S8UL Esports is going to get really strong, especially with that hyper carry Yonara. And I think Lotus, after being playing it so many times, has picked up where this champion excels, how his laning phase should be looking like. So I expect to see some spicy stuff also coming out from him, and I'm at least predicting this series might just end in 3-0 for S8UL Esports.
I 100%. They have the Gwen to answer the scaling, right? The Gwen also scales up like a beast. So, I mean, they have the Yunara for the late game. Gwen is going to be the late game because in the last game we saw Copy did fabulous onto the Cassante, but Cassante is not in hyper carry. So I think this game he has taken more things into his own hand. He's playing the Gwen, gonna play that hyper carry late game who can take the team to victory. But it will depend a lot, on how things goes or get executed at last onto the Rift, right? And if he's able to get the lead in this game, because I mean in the game one he fell behind a lot onto the Jax, even being one of his most comfortable pick, one of his more priority pick. But Black Entry being the jungler that he is, put a lot of pressure onto the top, made sure that RTO gets the lead, and RTO after getting the lead knew how to take it forward with the Renekton, and was able to carry the lane pretty well. So yeah, I think there are a lot of ifs, there are a lot of buts, but we are only gonna have one winner. So let's see if S8UL is gonna take this 3-0 because I mean another thing that you pointed about about the Annie had some wonderful ults, but yes, did make some mistakes here and there, but in the end we are all human. So giving that, Catbot also making mistake gives me a little bit motivation to be honest that hey, I mean, at last we're all humans, we can make mistake, but it's about coming back. And in the last fight, Catbot got a perfect TP, goes to the backline, deletes Ash, and there was no damage left. Even as behind as A2L was after the Ash died, they really lacked the damage into their pockets, and all the team just fell down one by one. But without further delay, we are jumping in to the game three, which can be the last game of the evening, but we will find out how this game goes and who is going to take the trophy home today.
Yeah, guys, this is a lot on the line. There is majority of the 10 lakh earner prize pool on the line, plus that LCP wildcard playoff spot. This is, as Singla saying, probably the last game of the series. If it goes well for S8UL Esports, they just need one more game to win. And it's Kakao Gaming with their backs against the wall. Dead Corporal's going to be spotting out a lot of members walking to you. I exactly expect this when I see the spot of Brom coming in. But we also have a substitution. Nero will be playing the Brom instead in this game, giving Kratos a break, who had the MVP performance last time. So they're switching it up for the side of S8UL Esports. This is the grand finals, ladies and gentlemen. This is game number 3. All to do for Kakao Gaming, because even if they lose one more game in this series, they are out of it. S8UL Esports will be your champions of Legends 7. But this is the game that can decide a lot about how the momentum will shift and who actually ends up picking that up. Infi's going to go for a late invade over here with 3 men strong. Look at where Sam is sitting. He's sitting in that bush. This ward is pretty much going to allow Dead Corporal to know there are people here and it's going to walk away. W is coming in to get some more poke onto Infi. That's going to be Dead Corporal pretty much going to be picking up his blue buff and shifting over to the red side. Other than that, nothing else of significance has occurred.
Yeah, they had a good wall onto the Shinzao. They knew where the players are starting off. What was that walker from Leona? I'm not really sure what would love to do did there, because legally there should have been 3 members standing there. There is a lot of damage that has already been taken by S8UL.
Uh, what is Kakao doing? Honestly, Love 2's getting caught out. Sam is not backing. Nero pretty much just flashed onto in mid side. Early gang from Infi flashed away by W. If that ability had land from the Viego, who's going to get rooted up in place, has to be careful. Sam, nice footwork in the bot side, dodges the Q from Nero, but this is an excellent start for S8UL's bot lane. They got the HP numbers low enough for Sam and Love 2 already. You have seen the HP bots being burnt as of now, and they're getting the wave shoved in as well. It seems like Nero had the advantage technical level compared to Lotus, because Lotus hit his level 2 later on. And that's probably because Nero flash forward got some XP of the wave that was dying early on that side. So that's also going to be something you have to put in mind. Copy is going to be perma shoving in to RTO top side unless RTO does anything, and Infi is that side to maybe get something of himself. I don't know why Xin Zhao didn't go deep and maybe get a steal instead when he's getting picked up. He didn't go for that red buff. You could have maybe gone for this, especially with that mid state being shown that side. Instead, Ping's going down on the blue buff. He might be coming into the gank on Catport. Catport does not have flash. Dead Corporal is aware of this. The W flash for the fear comes in from Catport. If the E and Q could have landed, I maybe would have liked to see it, but the fear comes in time because that H doesn't have E. It's on cooldown. He actually evades what looked like a pretty sure kill onto him over there.
Yeah, 100%. That was an instant fear denying him in that E. Capra predicted that flash and denied a kill to Dead Couple. I actually thought that's a 100% kill. But who'd have thought Shinza going deep into the jungle of Black MP, trying to pick up a blue, falls down. At the same time, there's a lot of damage that Lotus take, but he is going to comfortably just walk out without losing anything.
Yeah, I think this is Ilfi getting a bit greedy. He tries to go so deep. He is looking to catch out to Dead Corporal, which he does, and it pays off. That's because of the pathing that Dead Corporal had gone for. Like, he just gone so deep in on there. And in the meantime, the bot lane was trying to turn onto Lotus, who was left alone, had to burn his cleanse to get out of that situation because the sun's coming. Nero's just pretty much dancing in lane, throws a Q, picks up a minion instead, emoting the Kasat emote. But Lotus will be coming back with the Cull, gets gold at a faster rate, gets the healing off waves as well. There's a long sword in the pocket of MF, so she has more damage on that. Recover for the Gwen, double long sword for the Aatrox top side. But look at the camp difference right now between Infi and Dead Corporal. There's not even much Dead Corporal can pick. He's gone all the way to the Krugs, but he can't even find anything over there. RTO has to be a bit aware of this. If Infi gets spotted, the Dead Corporal, it might be looking for a dive. The W connects. RTO instantly flashes away. They might just go for rinse and repeat. Now the flash is down from RTO. I think that's exactly what they're going for. They're going to walk up all the way. Ease in. RTO gets the kill onto him. Copy can't do much. The heals are coming in from RTO. RTO gets a double kill for himself and a disastrous dive from Kakao Gaming. They were trying to force the situation because Dead Corporal's already so far behind, and instead now he's made his top laner also fall behind. This is not the start Kakao Gaming wants if they wanted to start the reverse sweep. As well as because of this, the feats of warfare have gone over to S8UL Esports.
I think that is exactly what I was scared about. Dead Koppel was behind already because of certain decision that he made. I think, he was level 3 where Aatrox was level 5, still decides to go in. He doesn't have the damage to delete him, doesn't have the HP to sustain into the tower. A very, very desperate move made by him into the top, which just gave a tremendous advantage to Aatrox, putting his team even more behind. Right now, DC is about 20 CS down, down from the Viego, already really, really behind. Let's see how he's going to come back into the game because this game looks scary for him.
Ooh, he's not gonna come back, especially after a play like that. Walks forward onto Catbot, and Infi instantly flashing. His flash pretty much had just come down off cooldown, I think so. Or no, he's not pretty much even used it in those fights. Bot side, wait, hold that thought. Bot side, Nero's going in low. He's very low, doesn't have mana, but Lotus has the powered Qs coming in as well. Gets the slow in, but here comes Leona. A lot of damage. The bullet times with the refresh coming in. Nero, you're stepping quite a bit forward. You should go down. He flashes away, but the auto animation was already there. Lotus is fighting back, but no, Love to picks that up. A bit of misplay coming in from S8UL Esports. I don't like that Nero went in when he was so low, and Lotus tries to bait into that fight. So it's a 2-for-0 for Kakao. One kill going over to the AC, one kill going over to the support, and this is Kakao's first 2 kills of the game. And yeah, talking about Dead Corporal is not having the best of games. He's already died 3 times within 6.5 minutes. He is so far behind in camps as well, and the one person you don't want snowballing definitely is going to be Infi, because he's going to be the guy roaming pretty much everywhere across the map. That allows him to get resets earlier on. And looking at his build, it looks like he's going for the Kraken Slayer build as well.
Yeah, to be honest, on the Brom, I think, it's that urge to save your ADC. It's about doing anything to get her out alive. But, support not being his first priority lane, he should know when to cut the losses, when to get back. He still came back in the hopes to save Lotus and, giving up his HP, but both of the players end up falling. Right now, the rotation has happened where Aatrox has gone down, and Lotus and Nero have already moved towards the top. I think they're looking for that advantage as the grubs are coming up. They're taking the dominance into the top side
Oh.
jungle. They see an opportunity onto the Jinzao. The Infi just goes blindly directly in. Shinzao is very, very behind. Very squishy, cannot do anything. And a easy kill yet there picked again for the side of SC12 and making BC 0-4.
Yeah, and that is a very, very good roam from Nero coming in. Goes in there. Pretty much he knows Lotus and him have good swap timers as well for their size. Copy is gonna get stunned up in place, take some even more damage, but they are denying Dead Corporal everything. And it all started with him trying to get the kill on Catbot in the mid lane. That failure results in them trying to go for the dive on the top side. That makes him fall even behind, and now he has lost complete tempo. Infi has this number across this game over here, and it started with Infi taking the red buff away from him earlier on. And Dead Corporal has been left alone. He's gonna spot out this ward with his sweeper, get that out. The W doesn't connect from him. Infi's around the corner. This might be another rinse and repeat. All 3 grubs do get picked up by S8UL Esports as well. They picked up the first Jake, all 3 grubs as well. They have the feats of warfare. They just need one more epic monster or even the first turret to secure the entire feats of strength for themselves. Zinja's going to be walking into his jungle. Is he aware that Infi that there is a ward actually that will be talking about? But Lotus is getting such free plating for himself, and RTO doesn't even mind answering the bot side of Sam and love to, because it looks like Lotus and Nero were struggling towards the end exchange because they did go 2-0 down in their fight. And now look at this. This is a 9-minute Kraken Slayer getting completed by Infi. One of the earliest times you will see it on the champion. That's because he's 2-0-1, stealing the camps away from Dead Corporal. Here comes the Unraveling Despair onto W. Catbot really wants to go for more. No, instead is happy just getting the HP bar low. Had TP'd back into lane. Now he's going to force the TP out for W to come back in. But looking at gold, almost a 1.5k gold lead right now for S8UL Esports, and Kakao Gaming really, really behind right now.
100% until DC can't come back into this game. This game is, to be very honest, even at the 10-minute mark, already over and is going to be an easy win for S8UL. But holding that thought, even after the early shenanigans that happened to the top, Gwen fell behind, is still able to outfarm the Aatrox and is scaling up slowly. Yes, Lotus is actually a little much weaker champion early game, does scale up very, very well. So yeah, he's struggling a little bit into the laning right now, but yes, is not giving away that advantage to MF. MF only has 1 kill right now into the pocket. Now is towards the bottom,
Oh,
and
the
I
fight
think
is
this is
breaking
going to
out.
be
Nero's
quite.
trying to go in onto Dead Corporal. Dead Corporal's going to get rooted up in place. Ultimate comes in from the Brawn. Infi's on a killing spree. That's not where DC needed to be. And unfortunately, that's going to be his fifth death already this game. Drake's looks to be on the menu for S8UL Esports, and they are eating good tonight, boys. With this pickup, they will have the complete feats of strength for themselves. And as bad as Deadcorp was doing, Infy's doing just as well for himself. Copy puts out the R3, comes in. The pullback from RTO might be enough. They both burned their flash. Actually, only RTO burnt his flash in that exchange. Copy actually keeps his. RTO had to try to flash in Q3 in, but the dash was enough for Gwen to get away. W, you have to be careful. There is a Nero behind you, and that's exactly why he has to burn the flash, not to where the Brom was flanking. He flashes away from the Q, which might have actually spelled his demise because Catbot had his ultimate up. But now that's a flashless W that can get repeat gang. DC is trying to go for an invade instead. Look at where he is. He is not on the right side of the map that he needs to be. Infi is going to be coming into this exchange. He's 2 levels up, but Mel is coming in for help. Maybe they get the revenge this time. The W connects the stun and the root from the Mel. The ultimate comes in. W picks up a huge shutdown for himself, but look at the flank. RTO's coming in with the TP. He's also a tanky point. Doesn't have the ultimate though. The stuns land from W. He's trying to dish out the damage, but the heals will be coming in. Nero Flash is to his counterpart. The Unrivaled Despair comes in from Catbot. Catbot picks up the kill onto Mel. Dead Corpo's left alone. Snip comes Copy. Does he have the damage though in this fight? Is it enough? There's a lot of chunk damage coming in. Actually, he does. RTO ends up going down. Nero falling shortly over here, but you do lose Dead Corporal in that exchange. Copy maybe does well in here, but doesn't pick up a kill, doesn't pick up the needed goal that he needs to actually try and become the carry that his team requires. Catbot is still chasing them. He is not deferred from what has happened in that exchange. But all in all, a lot of members lost. The kill count is 8 kills for S8UL Esports to the 4 of Kakao Gaming.
Yeah, Copy did not have the ult there. I think, that ult could have been a very, very game changer for him. If he had the ult with the level of damage that he had and 3 members standing right in front of him, would have been able to secure some good kills for him. But nevertheless, they were able to take the shutdown of DC, of Black and Fey, given it to W. Let's see what W can do with that kind of a good advantage because he is right now struggling into the lane. The Hue is 3-0 with a lead of about 20 CS into his favor, right? Already having that dominance
Mhm.
announced into the lane. So let's see what if that shutter helps W to come back to the lane, gets some advantage, and is able to match up onto the way and is able to get yet another shutdown. But right.
Ooh, it looked like Infi was catching on to him. W just barely gets out. Infi could have got it, but then might even give his life. Doesn't want to give even more kills over. He knows they're pretty far ahead. Doesn't mind that. With W so far behind, he has to go for a reset. Doesn't have TP actually to come to the mid lanes. That's why you can see Sam's made his way over there. Love 2 is just hiding around in the bush. If he jumps into Catbot, Catbot might be in a problem. Catbot walks in, walks away like he completely knows where this Leona is, has a complete inkling that there's something suspicious in the bush. Parents told him not to go into a conversation, especially in the bushes. But look in the bot side, Nero and Infinity might get locked up over here. They're going to channel in. The TP's coming in, but Infi's already been deleted. And now Catbot comes in, instantly flashes away. The Unrivaled Despair comes in. Is it enough damage? No. Another huge shutdown goes over to W. But Dead Corporal, unfortunately, seems to just keeps on dying for the side of Kakao. He's already died 7 times. That's a triple kill for W. Make that a quadra kill. And this Mel suddenly is Omega Fed. He's getting a huge amount of shutdowns to his name. Got 4 kills back to back. And unfortunately, the person who just keeps on dying from Kakao is Dead Corporal. I think Dead Corporal has to get some mental resistance. Try and think back into the game. He has different avenues coming out. You have that Gwen. You have this Mel that's over. He just has to slow down and take a breather right now. I think so.
Yeah, I mean, 99% of the deaths right now are sitting on DC. Even after that, there was a beautiful wombo combo that came up from the Mel, from the Leona ult getting paired up, and MF also being there to clean up the squad. There's so much damage that came onto that way, and finally the shutdown goes to the Mel. Right now, Mel just does not just have 5 kills, but also have 2 huge shutdown into his pocket. This Mel is huge, right? And this is something that we talked about into the draft, that the wombo combo is great if it comes in. I think Love to also played that really, really well. He waited patiently, got back again, saw Lotus overstepping, goes back in, catches that ADC, and picks up 2 more kills for the Mel, giving him a tremendous lead.
Wait, hold that thought, because Nero looks to be getting caught out. They're trying to go on to Sam, but no, he has backup. Infi's trying to run for the hills. Ults to go away. The solar eclipse just about misses. He thought Infi maybe did have ult. His solar eclipse pretty much at the same time the animation was coming in. And what looked like might have been pick up on Sam, they were coming around, is instead going to be Nero falling down. Copy TPs to the bot side. Lotus has to run for the hills. The snip comes in, and this, by the way, is a flash Gwen, not even a ghost. So Lotus can maybe try and kite it out if he needs to. He burns his flash to get away. Copy's flash was just about not up to follow in for the fight, but Lotus gets away with his life. But now that's a flashless ADC for the next 5 minutes. Drake looks to be started by Infi. Infi even completes it and instantly goes away, flashes across the Drake pit from this side of the wall, gets away with his life, and he's put his team on Ocean Soul Point. But Kakao Gaming are trying to run away. The flash gets burned. Dead Corporal trying to fight for his life. Sam might be left for the Wolves if this stun can land in. The root doesn't connect from W, plus the shield was there from Nero in anyway. Who picks up the kill? That's exactly what we want to see. RTO actually becomes the benefactor of the death of Sam in those exchanges, and bit of an overextension by Kakao. I think Jake goes down. You just try and back away. You don't have enough Fed members. DC, at least, fortunately, is not the guy who ends up dying in this fight. So that's maybe 1+ point, but it's still around that 2k goal lead for S8UL Esports. And now they're on a nice solar flare in the middle lane. Catbot and Nero trying to fight for their lives, but here is the barber that is Copy. Snip, he goes, gets the kill onto Catbot, gets the kill onto Nero, and finally the Gwen is getting some love, gets 2 kills for herself, gets some more gold in her pocket, and maybe even looking for this tier 1 in the mid lane, battling away with RTO. Has love to for just help. Here comes the ultimate from the Aatrox. Aatrox is trying to dish it up. The heals are enough from Coffee, but if he gets R3, it might flashes in, but the damage is not there. The healing is not enough. Unfortunately, Love to is the one who picks up the kill, but they don't mind it. It's still a kill for your team without losing a member, as well as picking up a tier 1 for yourself.
Yeah, I think both the players were healing there so much, but with the Leona stun being into place, gave her enough heal, gave her enough sustain, to the Gwen so that she didn't die and was able to take that kill away from the Aatrox. But fortunately, I mean, fortunately or unfortunately, the kill went to the Leona, which the Aatrox will be happy about into the end. But yes, let's see how it goes from here, because this Gwen starts is looking into the clutch, doing so much damage with the perfect stun coming in from the Leona's side. Was able to go in, pick up 2 easy kills for himself onto the Hui and Brom, and has star scaling slowly and a lot. But Catbot is doing so much damage even after, as ahead that the smell is, the damage coming out, the whole combo coming out onto the map, putting him at 1 HP. Fortunately, works out from the W of Hui and does not give another kill to that Hui.
Yeah, that way it doesn't need more kills. He's already pretty far ahead. So thankfully, he doesn't get anything. Nero's going to be walking a nice kill to the face. Allowed to cancel his recall. Finally, Dead Corporal is allowed to pick up his camps, but he's already pretty much 70 CS behind Envy. That is huge in numbers. At the same time, even Catbot is well ahead of the Mel. Only the top side, basically much for Kakao, is the one that has the lead in CS, because the bot side is looking pretty even. The Bloodthirster completed for the MF, another BT sword picked up as well. Not sure what she's building, because she has another long sword in her pocket. It's up to what she wants, maybe a Guardian. I'm not sure about that. But for Lotus, we have the Kraken Slayer into the Runan's Hurricane. Seems to be pretty much complete on hit, with some crit later on coming into his own kit over there. Because of the AP ratios of Lotus, it's not a problem. His crit does quite a bit of damage. Top side, you can see Xinjia finally has his Sunderer Sky, is maybe making as well towards the Static Gadge or something else on those lines. But Kraken Slayer completed for Copy. A Collector going to be following suit next as well. Atakan should be on mines. TP coming in. That is a very suspicious TP. I'm not quite sure about W's TP over there. He TP'd to the tier 2 on the mid lane when the tier 2 one was still standing. They're trying to go topside for this Atakan fight. All members of S8UL are here at a further amount of time. Love to tries to walk up. He's getting denied that vision. Copy has vision of around what HP is That has to be careful, has to kite his way away. They're trying to turn onto the Gwen. The R's are starting to come out. The ultimate from the scissors. The solar flare forces the flash out of the cat bot. Nero is trying to back away from this fight. He's low on HP marks. If he goes down, this could be problematic. And that's exactly what happens. The Atakan was already doing quite a bit of damage to S8UL members. Lotus is trying to kite out of his mind on the backside. This Atakan is going low. Who ends up picking up? Here comes the ultimate from W, but it's not in time. It's Zinja who picks up the kill, plus with the bullet time of Sam is not doing enough damage. All members of Kakao are getting wiped off the map. They lose Nero, they lose the Atakan, but they get an ace for S8UL Esports.
Yet again, I'm not understanding what is happening tonight. Kakao looks strong. They've been playing so strong. But S8UL is just not letting them being relevant. They were, even after being after a beautiful start coming out from Kakao, giving the right amount of poke, everything looked in their favor. But the execution that comes from the S8UL side, the teamwork that comes from their side is absolutely phenomenal. There was so much damage that Lotus took out, even standing alone into three man, was able to melt down the Zinda, was able to melt down that top. This Mel is not relevant, even after having all the shutdown, is not doing any damage at all, and they lose another fight there.
Yeah, and Lotus was getting flanked with the flash TP. He thought he was alone against the copy fight, but the rest of the team has shown up. Mel picks up another shutdown for herself. Dead Corporal might be the guy who suffers a nice ultimate from him. He pushes back versus the flash forward, or the ultimate from Infi is enough to get him back onto a killing spree after dying twice over there. But it is fine for him. Dead Corporal has died 9 times, ladies and gentlemen. These are not numbers we usually see out of DC. He's had a pretty rough game from the start of it. Copy really wants this tier 2 before the TP comes in. Probably he's going to give up his life for this in the fight against RTO. That's exactly what happens. Here comes the Wave Wanderer, and RTO picks up the kill onto Copy. Copy sacrifices a life for tier 1. Not the worst of changes over there, but S8UL Esports have picked up Ocean Soul for themselves. The healing factor for this Aatrox is going to be huge. I want to see some healer reductions coming. That's where you see the MF has built the Executioner is calling the Bramble Vest from the Leonos. That's the anti-heal coming in for them. Plus, you have a Oblivion Orb for the Gwen. But as it stands, it is still a 4K goal lead for S8UL Esports. 17 kills to 4. Most of the jungle objectives picked up for them, and they seem to be dictating how the fights go. That Atakan maybe have looked a bit dicey, but they pulled it off. Lotus was kiting away. They don't touch Lotus. That's a lot of damage being dished out to them, and if they don't focus or target focus properly, it's going to be problematic later team fights.
Yeah, I mean, with S8UL already having the Ocean Soul there for themselves, I think Kakao will be happy denying that Atikan, because otherwise this game would have been a nuisance already. They've been struggling a lot to take out the players of S8UL, because that Ocean just gives so much more healing to that Brom, to that Aatrox, to that Viego, making them relevant and not letting them down. Not letting them die, more or less. So much damage that is coming out from every member right now, and Shinzao is just not relevant. Still finished only one item, where the Viego is on the verge of finishing the third item. The item gap right now is massive between the players, because I mean, right now Evil Lotus is sitting on 3 items, whereas MF does not even have the second item ready. He does not have that Infinity Edge. So the damage output coming out from the both team, there is a humongous difference. The Kakao is heavily dependent on W, because W is the member sitting with all the gold, right? Where Zin is sitting with all the deaths. So let's see who is the right balance, and if W is able to take the team to victory or not, or is it going to be the last game of the evening?
Yeah, and like in the Arakan fight, W was deleted even before his ult even procced on the Mel. So that's something he has to keep his distance in these fights. Other than that, yeah, target priority is the Yunara, because the further the fight goes, the stronger she gets, especially with Leader Temple, especially with how her kit is. Baron looks to be spawning and Baron looks to be taken by S8UL Esports without an answer from Kakao. They are far behind in timers or recalls and resets to come for this fight. So I think this is just a pretty free Baron for them. After that, they're going to pressure all sides of the map. The TP coming in for the Mel, not quite sure. They're already too late for the fight. Hue TPs just in case. RTO is just waiting in this bush against Copy. Copy had burnt his flash earlier on when RTO had chased him, so he doesn't have the flash available to him. You're trying to change the fight. The bullet time comes in strong. Nero's going to get deleted, but that's a Braum you're going for essentially. You waste a lot onto him, and then you're going further into these fights. Dead Corporal doesn't have the DPS. He goes down. The Gwen follows suit as well. W is being chased down by RTO, gets pulled in. Love To's left alone. Love To has nowhere to go. Unfortunately for the Sri Lankan player, he will also be seeing the gray screen alongside three more of his team members. Sam is being chased. This is quite a cat and mouse coming from RTO. The damage should come in. He doesn't get pulled in the correct time. RTOs will be looking to go for more fights. The Q connects. Look at Infi. Infi's walking in over here, but no. Finally, Sam does back away with these Baron Parmies. They're going to be pushing down into these lanes. I think they get the inhib over here, maybe the 3-3 in the mid side, but I don't think it's still the end of the game. The death time is relatively shallow compared to the end that they want. And now you can see that these inhibs are going down. The turrets are following. So this seems to be the beginning of the end for Kakao Gaming's journey in Legends Ascent. This seems to be S8UL Esports looking for that victory. They're trying to walk in further and further in this, but no, instead they're going for the reset. They are going for the backs right now. They might even look to turn around if Kakao Gaming step a bit too forward, and that's exactly what Kakao Gaming is doing. They're running in for these fights, but they might not catch out the kind of prey they want. RTO is going to jump over the side. The resets have come in, and finally we have some peace and quiet on the Rift.
Yeah, I think they were trying to, deny them the reset because they knew once the reset come in clutch, there is no hopes left for Kakao. They went in aggressive, looking for that pickup, looking to get one or two members down so that they have some possibility of securing an elder, some possibility of coming back to the game. But now this is just an inevitable slow death. Right? There is no hope of comeback that is looking from the side of Kakao because the three inhibitors are down. The elder is coming up. They've been investing way too much onto the Braum in every game. Yet again, they're investing too much onto the Braum. Braum just goes in, hits
Oh
an
no, it's
ult.
out. They're completely gone from this. Copy gets deleted. W's trying to fight back. Lotus at least ends up going down, but that's not enough right now at this point. RTO is just a monster by himself. How can you deal with an Ocean Soul Aatrox right now? You don't have enough anti-heal actually to fight, but not enough damage. Love 2's coming with the last ditch effort back into the fight with the sword, but that is pretty much GG. This is celebrations for S8UL Esports, who take first place in Legends Ascent with a 3-0 victory of Kakao Gaming in the grand finals. They are your victors of Legends Ascent, and they have locked in their spot in the LCP Wildcard Playoffs alongside majority of that 10 lakh INR prize pool for themselves.
I mean, we have our winner of the grand finale tonight with a 3-0 clean win coming out with fabulous performance from each and every player. I think there is no one MVP. There is every member of SC12 who has played like an MVP, showing that gap, winning with tremendous lead and contributing to this win. So congratulations to the team. A great shout out to everyone, and we have a winner uh, for today evening. That is going to be S8UL.
Yeah, they take victories in very decisive fashion. Congratulations to the boys in the team over there. Infi, Catbot, RTO, Lotus, Nero, as well as Kratos. Please take a bow. You are very well deserving of this victory. And there you'll see the smiling champions on your screen, as well as that smiling champions of Legends Ascent over there. That 6-man roster over that side. And you can tell, even with the stationary faces, they are pretty happy. No matter what,
Yeah,
they
but
are going to be celebrating. They are going to have a bit of time now, because now they have to face against international squads, and now is the time to get even more serious for themselves.
I'm not sure why Nero is not happy, but I love the smile of Lotus. I mean, a great shout out to our champions of Legend Ascent South Asia. I think fabulous performance by individual. I'm very excited how they're gonna do in LCP, and I think the whole region is gonna be watching on you and looking after a great victory in LCP, supporting S8UL.
Yeah, and it's a victory for South Asian esports no matter how it goes because we have made it at least to a point where we can fight in LCP. And who better to represent us than S8UL esports right now, given the dominance they've shown in over the tournaments in the past year? They haven't ever lost a series, guys. I'm about to put out this is such an important thing, never losing a series so in such a hard competition going on for them. And they made it look like an easy competition from their side. 3-0 the upper bracket final, 3-0 grand finals over here, and they have been showing dominance. And Legend said the only single time they apparently gave up a game was that one game to Syndicate. Other than that, not even dropping a game throughout the tournament, except for that one. But I think they did phenomenally well. The drafting is good from this side. They look strong. Couple of here there which they maybe have to fix up for the LCP Wildcard Plus, but I think with a good coach and with the good support from the staff, it will be looking good for themselves, and that is why we say that they are the best team in South Asia. These are the kind of performances that we have come to expect from them, and oh boy, I can't wait for the future for when they fight on the international stage.
No, 100%. And they have proved again and again onto the platforms that they are the best into our region, into the South Asia region, winning n number of tournaments. I'm very excited and very well deserved on how they're going to perform into this international platform. I mean, onto the international platform in the LCP, and I hope to see another victory, another trophy coming into the hand of S8UL. So yes, we all, I mean, Manus and I and all our viewers are going to be supporting you and hoping for the best. But with that, concluding today's game three, it was a 28-minute game, a win towards S8UL, 26 kills to 16 for Kakao, 60k to 47,000 gold for Kakao, a 13k gold lead for S8UL, 11 towers to 2 towers given out. All the dragons were secured by S8UL. No Elder Dragon was spawned. Baron taken away by S8UL. Rift Herald taken by Kakao. Um, Void Grubs going into the favor of S8UL.
Wind up coming into the favor of Citadel, definitely, and they have showed their dominance time and time again. They've pretty much kept every single game of theirs under 30 minutes. I have to recall even my memory back when they had gone over 30 minutes in a game. This is their kind of play style, and Infi suffocating Dead Corporal early on in the jungle in this game 3 is one of the important talking points of how this game evolved, because Dead Corporal just
100%.
never came back into the game. He went for that dive in the top
100%.
side. He ends up going down, and that's a bit of a problem for them coming in over here. The bans come out nicely, their picks are nicely, the counters nicely, very good. Yunara coming out for Lotus struggled slightly a bit in the laning phase, depending on how that's been going for him. But your MVP of game 3 can be no other than this man, S8UL Infi on this Vigo, 12, 2, and 4. The damage per minute can be negative. 8 CS per minute is a pretty good numbers for jungler, no matter where you look at it. 14.5k gold, and he signified his dominance. This was definitely a bit of a jungle diff. Just given he started with taking the red buff, he invades later on, he denies Dead Corporal throughout this entire game. He gets all his lanes ahead. The only time it was falling down was giving too many shutdowns, maybe from the entire team, pretty much from S8UL to the side of the Mel. But unfortunately, the Mel could not do much with that agency that she had got, or the head that she had got. And as a team, they looked pretty comfortable. Every single objective was pretty much getting denied. They fast forward to these Drakes, and I think they just played excellently over here.
No, I think what what you said made a lot of sense. But W not coming into clutch, after all the shutdowns going in, as we're getting a quadra for himself, into the early game. I think there was a lot onto his shoulder that he could not provide. In the game one, we saw, Catbot having that lead into his hand with that Shinra, but was able to take out so much damage. I think a similar performance was something that I was looking from the side of W coming in and taking the team to victory. I really was hoping for Kakao to win at least one game against SC12 because Kakao, I mean, irrespective of how the result came, I really respect every individual player into the team, and I think are fabulous, fabulous individual performers. But hoping for the best for the next tournament, wishing them the good luck. I think they have learned from the mistakes and they will figure out, what they can do better. And next time, I hope that they're able to give a much better competition.
Yeah, and that's what we've seen from Kakao, right? They're always just that one step behind S8UL members every single time that they have won. They are the closest anyone has got to maybe taking S8UL down, given where one went all 5 games. Even the 5th game, Kakao was looking pretty strong. Unfortunately, because of some hits and misses, they couldn't do as well as they wanted. But other than that, I think they are doing a fantastic job. I think, yes, with a little more prep, a little more something, they can start to give even more competition. Because unfortunately, like upper bracket finals went 0-3, this grand finals went 0-3 for them. They are still a bit behind. The gap is still there between them and S8UL Esports, and hopefully with time they can start to narrow it down. But I think, on a whole, both these teams are bringing up the competition in our scene, honestly, because with them being there, it's inspiring new and upcoming players to play their best coming out. This entire series seemed like a good point of noting about how you want to play these matches. I really loved when the lane swaps were coming in from S8UL. Their macro seemed on point several times. Sometimes it was going a bit haywire. I think with just some WOD reviews they can fix even that. But I think they stand a really good chance of making it into the LCP if they put their nose to the grindstone, put in that effort they really need to. Because some mistakes that they make here will be punished even more severely in the higher level of competition. So that's what they have to provide. Other than that, I think they've done fantastically. And they honestly really, yet again, just take a bow because you guys have made Legends 7 seem like a cakewalk for you throughout this entire competition.
Yes, very true. I mean, we've been seeing them playing that, at a tremendous lead in every game that they have played. Losing just one game to Syndicate is a big, big, gap that they've shown between them and the teams. And I think that one loss also against Syndicate was something I'm not really sure what happened. Maybe the team was having fun or how, but I think respect to Syndicate to at least stealing away one win. One win away from AC12. But yeah, the gaps are still big. The region needs to step up. But we've been seeing so many new talent coming into the picture. This time, Harambe performing so well
Oh,
with the Syndicate. Yeah, we saw Nvidia. We saw so many new names that were coming up. I think with a little bit more experience, a little bit more practice, the tables can turn anytime. And this is the love towards the game, right? Did you do a
yeah.
a genjutsu or something? Because I saw
I guess I
madness.
did, guys. I guess I did because I just went in both places. They're coming out over here. We're both wearing the Naruto merch today. It's me with the Akatsuki and him with the Pervy Sage shirt. So a bit of
Yes, I'm like,
mischief coming in over there as we fix it in the back screen. But yeah, I think that's supposed to be bombs enough. Yeah, I think it was a good competition. Good shout out to Kakao. Like you're saying, there are a good amount of new players. The Void is one of the talking points, top lane prowess that he's been showing. Yeah, and I think you might have been a nice point over there that we have new upcoming players. We have been doing pretty good in this season, and it will just keep on improving the longer that we pay focus to the LASA pretty much over here. Because the South Asian region, we're getting new players day by day from every single of the South Asian regions, not just India, not just Bangladesh, from Nepal as well coming in, from other sides of the country coming in. And I really like to see that everyone's coming in and putting on a good show. We have fun Discord events. We just creating a community like this is something that should have been started a long time ago, but it's better to be late than sorry. I believe that we have started a progress that will continue further on and will improve how League of Legends is in South Asia. And hopefully we get to maybe that LCP, maybe this time through the hands of SC12. Who knows in the future which other team might even go for the qualification, because this will be coming again. The LCP, I think the creation of the LCP pretty much has solidified what kind of a region we are from the start of the year, because making Pacific region allows more teams to come in. I think that is always a good thing. You get more competition in over there, because we've already had the LCK, the LDC for quite some time. But just looking at your head-to-head over here, it's going to be Dead Corporal versus S8UL Infi, both the junglers in your see. Unfortunately for Dead Corporal, a lot of those deaths are in that third game primarily for himself. He died quite a few times, right? 17 kills that he did get, 24 deaths, 25 kills for Infi for the 12 deaths of himself. 6.27 CS for them, 6.77 CS per minute. So they look good CS. And then damage is definitely way in favor of Infi. He's 12k ahead of their corporal. Gold wise, also around 6k ahead. He has been a huge deciding factor of how S8UL has been in this entire tournament. I also believe he's the guy who's got the most MVPs at Roll, if I'm not well. And yeah, that's just how the cookie crumbled in the grand finals.
No, 100%. I think, Dead Corporal did very well into the overall series, being one of the best jungler that we have right now. But yeah, Infinity being the best into somehow, he showed, everyone has their games. So I think today was S8UL Infinity's day. He takes away the victory. But given that Dead Corporal has been the MVP for Kakao again and again, proving why he's one of the best into the stage two. And yeah, something that we were talking about, so many new junglers also coming into the picture. Dead Corporal does not only play jungler but fills in any and every role for Kakao, leading them from the top. But with that, I'll take your leave for today's evening, handing over to Kaka and to you, Madness, to take it forward.
And yeah, we're going to be joined by Kakao over here on the desk, because this man is something that you have to be much talking about. He's an ex-player as well, and is alongside us, been casting for quite some time with a lot of knowledge about the game as well. He's played with quite a few people. Infi is also one of his good friends, so is the entire roster there. But I think they played tremendously. This is what we were expecting Kaka going into this season, honestly.
Yeah, and unfortunately we expected the 3-0 to come in, and that's exactly what has happened. We did see quite close games though, but now we do have a member of the squad available to chat with us for a few seconds, and we'll ask him how the series was for them. So let's introduce Infi to the screen now. He's here, the winner, as you said, most MVPs as well throughout the tournament. So welcome to the big stage, I guess, Infinity. Now you have gotten the LCP slot as well. Just walk me through this tournament as a whole, and what was the achievement as well, that now that you have secured the slot, how do you go about it?
I mean, for us, it wasn't really, about just winning this tournament. We sort of knew we would run through the entire tournament pretty easily. And our main objective at the end of the day was just
hold on 1 second, Infi. But in the meantime, Kaka, let's just talk a bit more about him. You know him quite a bit well. You know his strengths and weaknesses. What do you think of Infi as a player and a person?
Wow, that sounds like I'm about to talk about my son right here. But yeah, he's the best player comfortably, right, in our region. I don't think there's any doubts about that. I do think now we can hear him. Let's see if we can, and if he say something.
Hello.
Yeah, okay, so we can hear him now. So yeah, going back to the previous question, if you want me to repeat, Sean, but just initial thoughts after winning the tournament.
Yeah, as I was saying, coming into this tournament, we sort of knew that we would run through this tournament pretty easily. Like, the only team that was actually in contender to us was Kakao Gaming. But like, we still knew we would breeze through the tournament. So our main objective entirely throughout has just been to, practice more against the teams from other regions that we will be going against in LCP. So like, that's Singaporean teams, Thailand teams. So we have been scrimming them. That is our end goal for now. That has been the end goal forever throughout this tournament. And our objective is just to be able to, put India on the leaderboard there.
Definitely. And I think you guys did a fantastic job. I want to point out that one, dark spot in your competition, that one game dropped to Syndicate. What happened there?
To be honest, there's just no comment. People like just trying to cook up some drafts. I picked Devlin after 2 years. Everything that could go bad that game went bad that game. And to be honest, it was still winnable. I think at the end of the game we were equivalent in gold, but we just sort of took a 4v5 we weren't supposed to, and then we lost from that.
Yeah,
It was just
speaking
us
about.
hinting a bit.
All right. Yeah, I mean, yeah, fair enough. And it's all right as long as you win the series. I don't think it should matter too much what the scoreline is. Sure, it's just a game that you guys lost in 100, so not significant at all. What will be is the LCP. So do run us through the expectations that you guys have within the squad and within the organization as well, as to how you are going to approach it and what would be a successful tournament once you do enter it, and what are the plans in general, how to face it.
I mean, our plans are, like I said, we have been scrimming on a daily basis against some of these teams, and we have taken quite a few games from them. So, like, we are expecting to maybe do better, if not even. And I mean, yeah, that's what, like, we're just trying to, what review every single match we play, like, brush up on our mistakes, so that we are better than we were last game.
And
Yeah, I
any
mean,
teams you
that
have
makes a lot of
specifically in
sense.
mind about like what you're going to be playing against over there? Like any specific team you're targeting?
I think as most of you would know, me, Akshay, and Mihir have been to Asian Games in 2023. So we have played against some of these teams before as well. So I think our target, the easiest target I would say would probably be the Thailand team. Like we have played against them before, but it was 2 years back, different meta, so we can't really comment on that. But we do know some of their play styles if it's the same roster, that is, and like we can work around it. So like we haven't really done the same planning entirely for them. We are just trying to brush up our own game, figure out our play styles, work on our swaps and stuff, and then we'll see how the game goes.
Yeah, and coming back to the local circuit as well for now, the performance was good. It was a 3-0 series, but the games were very close, right? Especially the first two games could have gone to Kakao as well. So there was some sort of, I would say, some sort of miscommunication coming in as well from your own team. The first game, I did think, and it could be harsh as well, but bot lane could have performed better in the few games that we did see. So what do you think? How do you improve on that is the question that I have.
Lotus was kind of lagging today. I'll be very honest. You probably wouldn't have
makes sense.
known that, but yeah. So he couldn't be on his A game today. But I still think they played well. It's just that as a team in the first two games, we were a bit indecisive. We were not sure when to put our foot on the gas and like take fights to them. Because like first game, for example, I'm pretty sure we were hard winning early game. It's just that they did steal a few objectives. It was just like we would kill them after they get the objective. So eventually it would turn out to be even for us. But we were still a bit, not on the same page for the first two games about when we should fight, when we should go back. Like it was just a little all over the place. And I guess it's also because it was like our first game of the day, you could call it. So
Makes sense. Yeah, I guess it's fine. Just dusting off the rust as well. I mean, it is a 3-0. We are being highly critical over here, honestly. These guys have only lost
you
one
are,
game,
but like
so-
you can.
Yeah.
After the first two games, you can see how well we played the third game. But we
Yeah,
did
third
hit
game
that
was
as well.
close.
That is classic. That is classic S8UL. But we did win out in the end. So
Yeah, exactly.
Like the
But-
reason we're being so critical is because there's not many mistakes that you guys honestly do make at the end of the day, right? So that's like the few points you can catch out. Other than that, you guys did
And-
fantastic. You didn't drop any
Yeah.
series, anything. I think Kaka can also agree that you are pretty much the best team in South Asia. There's been no doubt about it
Oh,
for
yeah,
the last
easily.
year, and so I just want to see what else you guys can come up with and what else can be put on, and if you have any sneaky drafts that we haven't yet to see from you.
I mean, the game one was a sneaky draft. We were holding the Renata pick for when they would go something like Diana and all in. But as I said, like we did try to cook up a bit. We did play that draft for the first time. We've never played that in practice. We just logged it in the heat of the moment. So yeah, that is also one reason why the first game was probably sloppy to look at, because we have never played that draft before.
Yeah, I mean that having said that, we are looking at it from a bigger perspective, because I think SA region is, done and dusted. I don't think there's much more competition here. But when it comes to LCP, these mistakes, let's see if we can call it, will be, punished by the better team. So I think that should be the approach anyway for any of the teams who do make it. And we really hope that S8UL can do really well, because I have big hopes, especially from this guy on the screen. He is the best player by a big margin. So yeah, we'll be keeping our eyes on that tournament. And again, congratulations on winning this one. Wasn't really close at any point, maybe in games, but in terms of series, this was not a close tournament.
Thank you.
Definitely was not close for you at all. But except for maybe Kakao, is there any up and coming team that you saw during your time playing against them that they had any, players that stand out for you?
I feel like Revenants is a very underrated team. I feel like against Kakao as well, if you've casted the game, so you know. But there have been times where they were ahead in the goal lead or ahead in a tempo play. It's just that sometimes I think their decision making as a team is a bit off. But I do think Revenants is definitely the next upcoming team. And their players are climbing the ladder as well for solo queue as well. So that's also there.
Yeah. Well, all right. I think we don't have any more questions. Just a big congratulations once again for winning the whole thing. 10 lakh prize pool along with the LCP wildcard slots. And we will be seeing you there in a couple of weeks as well. So I'm very excited about it. Madness, any closing thoughts from you? And of course, Infi as well. We'll give him the mic for the last bit to, thank the S8UL fans, maybe because you do have a big following now.
Oh yeah, they have a huge following right now for themselves, and there's a huge reason. It should have been this big from the beginning, given how they play, honestly. But we are in a region that is, not MOBA centric, but we're bringing them in through the org as well, and they have been performing phenomenally for them. I think I'm just waiting to see what else you guys can pull off and how well this LCP wildcard play will. Hats off to you guys. You guys just definitely deserve everything you've got for you, and good luck for your future endeavors.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, so guys, that was the champion captain right there, Infi. Quite comfortably the player of the tournament as well, as you guys were discussing earlier, the most MVPs of anyone. And honestly, could have had more. I think we were being, quite like we were tired of giving him the MVP every the damn game. Like, give it to someone else as well, or he would have racked up the lot for sure. And yeah, I like what I'm hearing from them, beating all these teams from other regions. And we do have high hopes in the LCP as well for them. And well, let's really hope that they do well. Yeah, again, a fantastic tournament, all in all.
Yeah, but I really like the fact that they are scrimming against team from the outside regions, right? That's exactly what they should be doing, and they've already started from beforehand, before the tournament ends. So I really think that they have a game plan going forward of what they want to do. Maybe even bring a coach in from the backline, something like that also helps for maybe some of the same mistakes that the other international teams will definitely try to punish. So maybe these kind of things, if they work on, definitely have a really, really, really good shot moving forward. There might be that, we talked about before, that Kaka, that slight being disadvantage for them, that could also definitely come into play in those tournaments. So that is something that hampered him. But if maybe get some bootcamp money, maybe head off somewhere else, that could also be playing good for them depending on how this goes. And S8UL Esports is a big org. You expect maybe they will help, and definitely they are already helping the players behind the scenes. The stuff is already looking good for them, and I think that's a very, very good thing. But with that being said, that's been me, Madness, alongside Kaka, as well as Hades and Sigla for today. This is the end of Legends Ascent. Once again, your champions, S8UL Esports, and we can't wait to see what these guys do in the future. Have a good night.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, mic check, what's up? 2, 3 on my back, it's tough. Light years ahead, just call me Buzz. Hitting a shot and sink with the boys. I feel like Joel Embiid, the process, yeah, I trust. Accolades got them swallowing the words, cause I know that they doubted us. Touch her, touch, can't touch this. I know they throwing that dirt on my name. When I check on my tag, it be spotless. Look in the mirror and snap my fingers and point like you know you got this. Winning man, winning man, winning man, winning man, winning man. Who gon' stop this? No one. Give it all I got. I'm going to the top. I'm going in. Right on the way to the top. 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 I'm going in. Flip deep. The letter I stick it. I came from the bottom to the top, but I'm not finished. I just needed me a minute. Standing attention, lieutenant.